GM friends, Drew Roberts reporting live from the swamp out here in the cabana. Got a couple things I want to go in, but I think for me, I'm kind of doing a little brainstorming night. I want to start with the concept and kind of think about from your pseudonymous identity, uh, personality, and then think of like X.com and with SpaceX, all that infrastructure being the layer zero, the X entry spot for ideas, everything, and then documenting that and tokenizing those movements of creation, and then having your personality interact with others and creating this kind of like I mean, it is a metaverse. So you're already in a metaverse. So why don't we just create it and go full fledged in with the way we can do AI memes, the way we do content clips, where we can, all we've done in the past with some of these higher end meme coins, applying that to like these personalities of like your own account. So then, like, for JSON API data, it made sense for him to be 42C. And then for other people, it may be more sense just to stick with a group, token community you're already in and running. But think about the characters within that in this creation of worlds. So I don't know if this will play, but I'm going to try. It worked for me when I was on an iPad. I mean, on a laptop where I could play the audio. This one is a much different computer setup. I mean, it's all my same operating system. Arch, by the way, Linux. So I just need to share a screen. I don't think I can do the video. I could. Would probably be much smoother, but all right. So if I put that window on. All right. And then if I go full screen here. So now the question is, can we hear it at the same time? Dang it. I can hear it on my end. I guess I'm not sending the input out. Okay, so I got to send the input out. Hold a second. All right, let me go this one and pause it. Dang it. I can hear it on my end. I guess I'm not sending the input out. Okay, so I got to send the input out. It's always about input output. IO. I'm a .io guy and probably always will be. I like input output concepts when thinking about a web application. All right. For some reason, it's not showing the screen anymore. You're all just frozen. I'm doing hacking operations and my whole scamming scheme, and y'all can't see the screen even though I'm sharing it. All right. So if I open up, there's it's here, the GoXLR settings, configuration system. So the chat mic comes in. And where's it going out? Line out. Didn't have the chat. Now it does. And the computer should be the chat line, I believe. So if I'll put that up. Oh, shoot. No, of course I left YouTube.
This is, I think, why my process is so very world focused. It's just making new worlds.
And fun in what way? Playful, laughter?
No, it's
imaginative.
It's imaginative. It's an exploration, because the way I'll generally start is with a particular what if. So we'll have, right, this is the thing about this world. This is the world where this is the world where a species of spider is going to evolve into the dominant civilization.
So one what if variable, basically.
Yeah. And then the image I usually use is the idea you're dropping a stone into a pool. And then you have the ripples from where that stone impacts, and you follow them out. And each set of ripples is a consecutive sort of logical therefore. If that is your starting point, well, therefore this must be true. And if that's true, then this must be true. And eventually you end up building an entire world, whether it's a science fictional world that has, that is borrowing from real science, or whether it is an entirely fantastical, magical place where every part of it fits with everything else.
What's the difference between a what if and a premise, or are those the same?
I think there's probably the same thing. It's just, I think what if is just the way of expressing it that appeals to me as a sort of a science fiction fantasy author.
And then as you're thinking through the what if, what makes for a good what if versus, that one's crap? Like if I were to throw you 10 of them and you were to say, the first 9 are bad, what do you think that they would have?
I think for a starter, the key thing is I don't ever want to repeat someone else's work, basically. And so if I am working in a space that a lot of writers have explored before me, I really want to be aware of where they've gone and to find my own unique spin. And if there isn't, if I can't think of a really interesting spin on something, I won't go there. So, for example, I've written a lot of fantasy books. I've never really done a dragon,
right?
Which is like one of the most,
of course,
iconic things in fantasy. But then people have done so many dragons, and they've done dragons in so many different and interesting ways. I would need a really interesting take in order to go there, because that's such a crowded idea space.
Why do you think dragons are so popular? Because they're big, they're kind of dramatic.
I mean, if we accept that, say, Eastern culture dragons and Western culture dragons are dragons in the same way, and that's a bit of a debatable point. It's something that the vast majority of cultures seem to have. It's something that obviously speaks to the human psyche. It's a symbol of power, whether that's a good power or, especially in the West, an evil power. It can be a symbol of all sorts of interesting human sort of nature characteristics. So, for example, Smaug in The Hobbit is an embodiment of greed, and Tolkien is taking that directly from Fafnir in sort of Anglo-Saxon myth. And Fafnir was a person who turns into a dragon because of greed. So it's the idea, monsters that tell us about us are always going to be more interesting than just a monster. And at the same time, with a dragon, you've got something that is enormously monstrous and powerful and sort of flamboyant and spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've mentioned originality for the what if. What are the other components?
I mean, for me, it's got to feel like a solid enough idea that it's worth doing a book about. And that's a really hard thing to pin down. And it comes down to, well, I know it when I see it.
Yeah, because one of the things you find when you find a good sort of premise or idea, what if, is you find almost the seed, and all of a sudden it grows and grows and grows. It begins to expand. Is that something you feel?
I have a lot of half book ideas. And a lot of the books I've written have been when two of these ideas have clicked together, and I've realized, there isn't a complete, if I put these two things together, there is a complete book that I can get out of that. And sometimes it's more than two, but often it's just, so, for example, in Children of Ruin, which is the second of my kind of big sci-fi books in that series, I wanted to write about uplifted octopuses because they are very fascinating creatures. But that felt like half a book, and you get a sense of how much of it is. And so theoretically, I could probably have done a novella just on that, but not a full novel. But then there is also in that book this entirely alien creature and the way it interfaces with human neurology. And those two things together, despite the fact they didn't obviously seem to have anything particular in common, just clicked and no, there is a complete book if I could write both of those into the same work.
And then as you're thinking about your world building, even going back to the games, what then are the components that lead to, that world feels cohesive, realistic, whatever it is you want to call it, versus that sort of feels like a sham, that's fake, that's not really going to hold water?
So I try and build ground up when I'm doing world building.
Okay.
And usually that what if is right at the bottom, and everything is coming up from that, so that if I have done my job properly, by the time I get to the point of actually starting writing the book, or even starting sort of working out that sort of chapter plan of plot, the world has already got that level of reality to it, that sort of robustness. So I need that kind of solid ground under my feet sort of feel. And if I don't get there with a world, as occasionally I don't, then I won't get as far as actually turning it into a book.
And now, when you're trying to turn something into a book, how would you think through the different phases? How long do they take, and how does the nature of the work change?
What do you mean by phases?
I'm going to plan the book. I have research to do. I'm writing a first draft. I'm doing editing.
Okay, so the world stage will generally be about a couple of weeks. And
A couple of weeks. Wow, that's pretty fast.
yeah, I think that is because by the time I sit down to say, right, I will now sort of formalize this, it's been boiling away in the back of my head probably for months, years even. You know, I have this whole sort of conveyor belt of forming ideas just sort of marching along, and then the next one will turn up and it will be coherent enough already. And sometimes, I mean, what I do these days, because I am getting older and my memory is not what it was, I have a whole host of notes on my phone where I just, every time an idea strikes me, I'll say, right, that is an idea for that book. I will go to that file and I will jot that down. And maybe that will be useful when I come to that sort of formal stage. So there is quite a long sort of relatively subconscious process before I sit down. But yes, when I sit down, I will hammer it out in about that time. And then if I'm doing a chapter plan, because like I say, these days I've started to vary that up, I will get that done, because one of the things you get out of the world, if you've made it sufficiently coherent, is it will tell you what the story is going to be. Because I'm not in any way advancing this as necessarily the best way to write, and certainly it's not the only way to write, but I am always showcasing that world in my work. So I am looking for the story that will allow me to take you to all the interesting places and see all the interesting things that are happening. And the world itself will have sort of flashpoints and pressures and fractures inherently within it. Because when you're making a world, it's not static. It's not the idea of, yes, and this is how it is, and this is how it will be for 1,000 years. It's just like, this is how it is in this one moment, just before the book starts. And that will mean, yeah, these guys hate those guys, and this is all going to fall apart, and this is going to go on fire. And then all of these things you worked into the setting give you the where the plot is going to go, and they give you the characters as well.
So what's an example of you have a vivid world and then the characters arise out of that?
So my fantasy series that I'm working on at the moment is called The Tyrant Philosophers. First book was City of Last Chances. There's something in particular about city-based books where you get a whole extra layer of world going on. In this case, so I knew it's an occupied city, but I want to be writing about very relatively low-level mundane people who are under the boot of the occupation, but they're not going to be the leading likes of the resistance or anything like that. And so at that point, it feels a lot like, right, well, I've done the work. I know who the factions are. I know what's going on. I know what the pressures are. I will go out into the streets of Ilmar, this city, and I will see who I meet. And right, this character is a sort of a magical pawnbroker. And so he is obviously going to have some interesting relationships with the occupiers and with the resistance, and with this other character who is, he's an academic in the local sort of university, and the university is fighting to retain its kind of traditional privileges against the occupiers. But at the same time, this guy is a collector of magical tat, and he will make deals with this crooked member of the occupation force to raid the pawnbroker's shop for choice pieces. And so you just start building up this spider web
Wow.
of all of these associations, and then all of that is giving you your plot, because you know these things are happening, and you know that there is this long tail of events informing all of these characters and how they live together and how they relate to one another. And you know that at some point this relationship is going to catch fire, because this character is not going to live with it any longer, and they will strike back, and then that will have this domino effect throughout the city, so that you get very small actions taken for relatively petty reasons that end up with the entire city on fire, with a kind of a huge sort of revolution going on.
And now when you're talking about starting with the city and then going to the pawnbroker and the academic, and then you end up with the drama, and I just think of a fire building, and all of a sudden, right, it's like a symphony. So then when you're thinking about that drama, do you feel like you're pushing towards drama, or do you feel like, you know what, if this happens and this happens, and I'm fairly true to the world itself. Drama is just something that
Yes.
just sort of naturally emerges out of the source.
Absolutely that. And in fact, with these books, I'm not planning them. I am literally just setting all of this stuff up and then seeing what it does. And all of the innate drives and friction and relationships of these characters give me the plot, but I don't know any of it in advance in this case, which is, it's kind of like writing without a safety net. And it was terrifying because I didn't know if I'd end up like 500,000 words in with no sign of an ending, but actually it all seemed to come together.
Does it sometimes have no side of it?
It hasn't failed yet. So I'm currently working on the 5th main novel in this series, and they're long as books go, but they are not sort of ridiculously long, and they've all had a good shape, and they all have lots and lots of interweaving mosaic-y threads and lots of point of view characters, and everything kind of comes together at the end.
Take me back to what you were saying about with the settings and cities having unique properties versus the other options.
Certainly, for a lot of narratives, especially fantasy narrative, they tend to be travelogues. And the thing there is you get to leave your messes behind. You can walk away from the consequences of what you do because you're always going on to the next point in the map. And in your great trek towards throwing the ring into Mount Doom or whatever you're doing, you don't need to worry about what is happening back in Bree after you kind of got out ahead of the ring wraiths. If you're in a city, you don't have that luxury. If you're in a city, first off, you're a resident of that city. You've lived there all your life. You have an existing relationship with all of these people and factions and events. And when you do a thing, when your tolerance finally snaps and you make that terribly reckless decision, you have to stick around and live with the consequences. And that makes for a much more complex and interesting narrative, I think, than the travelogue narrative where you're basically doing the murder hobo thing and just walking away from your problems.
And when you say complex and interesting, that's for the reader. Do you feel like it's harder for you as the writer?
I feel it's more challenging. I think...
Why do you distinguish between hard and challenging?
Because challenging is fun. I think it is harder, but on the other hand, I think it's also commensurably more rewarding when you've done it. And so I don't want to make it sound as if there is a downside to it, but I do think you need to do more prep work, because unless you're starting off with a character just coming to that city from outside who's never been there before, all of these people you're going to meet are going to have a pre-existing association. They're going to know about each other. They may be friends, they may be enemies, they may just have heard of someone, but we're talking about the board with the red strings. At that point, you need that board. You need to know who hates who and who likes who, and however you wish to represent that for your own benefit, you kind of need to do the legwork. Or, I know there are writers who will just write and sort it all out in the second draft. And I have a colossal amount of admiration for that, because I need that world already there. I need to know, whatever street I turn down, I need to know what I'm going to find there.
How do you imagine that world? Do you imagine it in terms of people, in terms of streets, in terms of clothes? Like in your head, if you were to close your eyes and imagine that world, what do you see?
It's kind of it's a combination of all of it. There's a big visual component, there's an audio component, but there's also, it's very hard to define, but there's almost like a gestalt. I found this a lot, both with individual characters and with settings as a whole. There's kind of like a mask you put on, and then when you're looking at things through that mask, you're seeing it with a filter that shows you this is what this world looks like. And at that point, you can kind of think, right, I need to think about a public baths, and rather than instantly thinking about this is the real world thing, this is like a picture of baths in the Roman Empire or something like that, because you've got that filter, you can say, well, in this world, this is how that would go, or in this world, they wouldn't have that because of these reasons. And as long as you've done that prep work and immersed yourself in the world, hopefully your imagination will furnish you with the right version of whatever sort of thing you need that will fit seamlessly with all the other things you put in.
And we're talking about the world in terms of making sure that connections work well. We were talking about certain characters like the pawnbroker and the academic. When you're thinking through those characters, where does that begin? Where does that start? And then what leads to a kind of believability of character? Because science fiction has sort of a reputation of having kind of flat, stale, unbelievable characters.
Which I think, whilst I'm sure you can find examples where that is the case.
So my thought here is, we don't use AI bots. Like, nobody wants to interact with AI bot and be like they're talking to somebody in fucking India in a call center, but even worse, you want to talk to the AI representation of a real person, like what their creation is. Like, they create their website, they create their X account personas, and you should have multiple alts. Like, all of you should have as many alts as you can. I mean, as you can manage, but like, I have 1,200. I don't log in them very often. I can. There's not any use to go and log in some of these. And mainly mine are like former projects, like my client's project sunsets. And, it's gone. Can I have the socials? Yeah, sure. And then now I've got an older account with, people who were active at that snapshot in time in that particular community. And that's a pretty valuable, like, connection point to match up what they're doing on X versus what at least their docs addies are doing over here. But even aside that, it's just more like where these fiction writers go wrong is there's not enough. You can't develop enough like granularity or kind of perplexity, the contradictions within a person when you're writing a book, as you can just putting a real person there, and that's your voice. And then making that interface out to this world, it's just as simple as a touch button. To this interface, I'm going to be this person. Now up pops a screen with a little dashboard. And then you kind of hop into this space. You see kind of like the news, the updates, that dashboard. And you hop into this space. And it just requests. And when you get the mic, it shows you that you can unmute, and it has your little emojis. But it's a layer 2 on top of X. So X.com being the API endpoint that we're connecting to, and then we're just a layer on top of that, feeding downstream. So, and then make it where all the accounts that are on this layer 2 are, token gated in, and it doesn't have to be like, any monetary value to the tokenization. It could be one without a liquidity pool. Just, here's some you can give away freely. But it would be kind of cool if there's like an application process and it's done like the private equity group structure I've been playing with. So anyway, I just want to listen to this. I'll probably make it full screen again, and then I'll pop down. And I assume y'all been able to hear me, but I don't know, having some technical difficulties around here. So I'll go back to this. There's another like 30 minutes. So you can tune out if you want. I won't be talking too much. I'm just listening.
And certainly there is a period of science fiction where the focus is much more on, say, the technology than the people. I also feel that we get stick for it in a way that other genres don't, and I'm pretty sure you can find similar examples in every other genre. It's just that doesn't tend to be the focus of criticism. And, for example, if you look at the work of, say, Ursula Le Guin, one of the big voices of the golden age of science fiction, she is enormously concerned with the human experience, right, rather than how the technology works or anything like that. So, but for me, sticking with the characters we've been talking about, so I know by the time I get as far as, well, there's a pawnbroker, I know that this pawnbroker is from this particular culture. He is an immigrant in the city from a nearby nation which has previously been invaded by the same people who are currently occupying this city. Mm-hmm. So he's already got all of this informing him, even before I know who he is and what he's doing. He's growing out of the world in the same way as all of the other characters, large or small, are growing out from this same common sort of weave of ideas I put in. So ideally, by the time that character has emerged as, yes, let's have him in the book, there are all those strings attaching that character to all the other parts of the setting are already there. They're not things I necessarily need to tack on by hand, because it's inherent in who this character is as to how he's going to relate to everything else that's going on.
In the same way that a world would unfold and presumably be kind of surprised by what happens, and same thing with the story, do you feel that with characters that they grow, they change, they adapt in ways that surprise you?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And that applies for books where I planned more sort of rigidly, as well as where I'm letting the plot unwind itself. Characters will always have more depth because they'll start off with just like, here is like a handful of adjectives and a couple of notes on their starting disposition, but because they are coming out of that world, as you meet them, you'll realize, oh no, they have this going on as well, and they have that going on as well, or they've got a thing romantically for this other character that's not in the plan at all, but it's just like it's a thing you discover when you meet them, because there is a gap there of exactly that shape that they kind of then move to fill. And a lot of this, I think, is probably subconsciously mediated. A lot of this comes from the more you do it, the better you get at it. And therefore, once you have been writing for long enough, this richness of character detail will suggest itself to you much more naturally because you train your mind to think in a certain way.
Okay, so when you're thinking of a science fiction world, I feel like there's two ways that they can fall apart. One is that the world itself breaks down, and the other could be that the science itself breaks down. How much do you think about that?
So when I'm doing science fiction, first of all, I would say the way I tend to think about it is that there is a whole continuum between like the hardest of hard science fiction, where you're doing absolutely everything as science works now to our best understanding. And then you go all the way through things sort of like a space opera, more of a Star Warsy sort of thing, where there are the trappings of maybe science fiction, but the logic behind it is kind of mystical. And, it takes you all the way to kind of full-on secondary world fantasy where everything is just magic. But when we're working towards this end, where the science is, I have borrowed the idea of a left wall.
What's that?
So it's the idea that what science says is possible, that is your left wall as you write the book. So you can only expand outwards from that. You can't go into that, because at that point you're unless you're very intentionally deciding, right, I do not care about this particular part of science. I'm going to have time machines or whatever. In the same way, honestly, as if you were writing something set in a very specific historical context, your left wall is, well, this is what we understand about how things were done at that time. And that really, it's working out the contours of that left wall is what your research is. And the difficult thing there is working out ahead of time what you don't know. It is the unknown unknowns, as whichever statesman said, that get you, because otherwise you will tend to assume, well, I know how that works. And then you'll get to a certain point in the book, and either you'll just get it wrong because you don't know how it works and don't realize you don't know, or you will get halfway through the book and realize, oh, I now need to go off and research, and just have to hope that research doesn't undo a whole chunk of the stuff I've just written.
And when you say research, do you mean if you have something about airplanes, looking how an airplane would fly to make sure that you understand the physics of aviation? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, for example, Children of Ruin, again. Okay. In Children of Ruin, the octopuses have spaceships, and the spaceships are full of water because they're octopuses. Now, thankfully, before getting particularly far into the book, I realized I have no idea what this does to a spaceship being full of water, because that is not a thing we do with spaceships. So I got hold of someone, in this case, I got hold of a chap who designed submarines, who you'd think would have literally the opposite problem to this. But who was able to basically guide me through, well, you have this problem with inertia, and you have this problem with momentum, because the whole thing just weighs 1,000 times more than a spaceship that's full of air. And, this might happen if you have a hull breach and the water is going out, and all of that kind of thing. But it's just working out those weird little gaps. I mean, ideally, my absolute favorite scenario for anything like this is I will find someone who knows this topic extremely well. And generally people are extremely happy to do this, because people who are very knowledgeable about a thing are quite happy to share that knowledge. That tends to be so, for example, with the spiders and Children of Time, I turned out to have a really fluky connection at the Natural History Museum that meant I could go over there here in London.
That's the pretty one in South Kensington.
Yeah. And I was able to just go in and talk to their entomology department for an entire day, just talking through the logistics of, well, what if you've got a really big spider?
How big are we talking? Like a truck or a boat?
Oh, no. I mean, because you can't. So in this case, they're about that big. That's as big as they get.
Okay, so like a foot long.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of including legs. So they are big. They're about the size of a cat or so, but they're it's big for a spider. Well, I mean I like spiders a lot, but also with that book, I'm well aware that basically most people don't like spiders. So I wanted a book about empathy, human empathy with the other, and if you can do that with spiders, you can do that with anything. And so that was the big challenge with Children of Time. But yes, I needed my spiders to be as scientifically plausible as possible. And so that was the purpose of that particular sort of research expedition.
And forgive my ignorance, but why is scientifically plausible important? Is that like a pride thing for you as the writer? Or is that, David, no, the story needs scientific plausibility for this, and this reason?
So it's mostly the second. I'm not going to say that the first isn't there. And I always particularly cherish if someone basically says, yes, I am a professional in this area. And yes, you basically nailed this thing that I am knowledgeable about. And that's always a bit of a joy to fire you out. That is, it's the equivalent of making a table where all the legs touch the ground and it doesn't wobble. I built that well.
Yeah.
But there is a particular way that science-informed science fiction lands that fantasy doesn't necessarily, so that if I had written a book about just magical talking spiders, it wouldn't have had the same impact because people would have known, well, this is obviously, it's a story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you must have had other people talking about the idea of the one big lie.
No?
Oh, right. Okay, well, there is this idea, maybe it's a science fiction fantasy thing in particular, but you have the idea that you can get away with one big lie. And it's just, that one thing which is just convenient to have in the book to make the plot work in the way that you want, and that is your one big lie. But in order to support your one big lie, everything else needs to be true.
So what would examples of that be in different stories?
In Children of Time, there is a big lie, but it is not the spiders. The big lie is literally there is this nanovirus which is assisting the uplift of the spiders, and the lie is the amount of time that uplift will take. Because of the nanovirus, it happens in tens of thousands of years rather than hundreds of millions of years, which you would need for actual evolution. But the evolution that's going on is as plausible and real as I can make it, because that's what gives the book its effect. It is the idea that people will read the book and think and come away feeling this is a thing that could happen. This particular species of spider, it's an enormously cognitively complex species of the spider. The book was in fact inspired by reading the scientific papers of people who've been studying this and finding
giant spiders.
No. The species of the spider you start off with is basically small enough to fit on your thumbnail.
Okay,
it's a species of jumping spider, Portia labiata. It is insanely intelligent for something that is that small and doesn't really have a brain as we would think of it.
Wow.
We have later found, which I didn't get to put into the book because it was written by them, we found that they dream like we dream. You can see them having like eye movements when they're asleep.
Wow.
And it's just like but this is all very new research. I read the research and thought I would like to write the book where the what if is, what if this specific species of spider became fully sentient and had and developed a society and a civilization and a technology and all of that sort of thing. But in order for that to land in the way I wanted it to land, it had to be real as possible. It had to be based on the science. So that, it's not like a 40-foot spider or anything like that. It's not like the giant bugs in Starship Troopers, because if you're talking about an Earth spider that has been this is being uplifted, there are physics limits you can't really go beyond. But the end result is that hopefully the spiders come over as this is a thing that could be. This is the thing that could be real, and that gives the book a weight and a gravity that it would not necessarily have if it was magic talking spiders. And I have written magic talking spiders, and that when I'm doing that, that's not what I'm seeking to do in the book. The book is doing different things at that point.
Walk me through some of the differences between fantasy and science fiction, both in terms of the genre conventions and in terms of the purposes that they serve.
A lot of the time, they may not be serving different purposes. So the thing that science fiction can do that I think no other genre does is really just that building on the science, that speculation where you are standing on the shoulders of giants, I guess, where you're building off what we know and saying, well, this is a plausible way this could go. But what I should also say is, as far as science fiction fantasy goes, it is that continuum. So you move away from that hard science point. And when I'm writing a book, I will know right at the beginning with the initial concept where along this continuum it's going to fall. So that in the middle there, in that sort of space opera territory, I've got a series called The Final Architecture, and it's spaceships and it's aliens, and it's got all of that science fiction stuff going on. So it's still definitely science fiction, but at the same time, there is a lot of, the aliens are all coincidentally of a level where they can kind of interact with humans, or mostly interact with humans on a human level, and they can communicate, and there are translation devices and things like that. Whereas if you look at Children of Ruin, 50% of that book is people working out how the hell you talk to an octopus. And so at the point where you're looking at the hard science, it basically means you are accepting, I am not going to have certain things in this book. So I am not going to have time travel, because as far as we are aware, there's no real mechanic to go back in time. And then the more you go towards that, the more you cut out, because your left wall is taking up more and more of the space. Whereas as you go away from that, more and more things become available to your narrative. One of the reasons I did the Architects series as a space opera was I just really wanted to be able to gad about in the universe with enormous distances very quickly, because in Children of Ruin, they take months to get between planets within a solar system, because that's kind of how it goes. And then eventually you end up going straight into full-on fantasy, where there is magic, and the magic works like this. And here are the things the magic can't do, and here is the price the magic demands for you using it, and so forth. And you end up with a world that effectively you build your own left wall, and you end up with a world that has the same amount of logic and reality to it as your science fiction world. It's just that you have built it by hand rather than importing large chunks of it from the real world.
Why do you think that the use of magic so often does come with a price?
Because for the same reason it's easier to write dystopias than utopias, because if you have magic with no price, then why has anyone got a problem at this point? Why isn't everyone just doing everything by magic? Also, frankly, just narratively, I think it is much more satisfying. We like the idea of kind of wicked magics that exact terrible prices from their users, whether those users are our heroes or our villains. It gives you more narrative space than if... when you have a narrative where basically you can do anything, there is a story there. Michael Walcott wrote a series called Dance at the End of Time, which is set in such a far future. There are basically about 7 people left, and they're all essentially gods, and they can just make things at a whim. And the whole point of that series is they are so bored because magic has no price. The whole thing is them trying to find some way to obviate this incredible ennui of just having absolutely everything in the world.
You were talking about the left wall, and you were talking about the one big lie.
Yeah.
Are there other maxims that you think about in terms of writing that you lean on a lot?
Not many. One of the things I tend to find about writing maxims is that they are very seldom true.
On that topic, it got me thinking that really what we're providing, I was always thinking like DAO, launching DAOs and then having like feature divisions of a private equity group out. We are also launching like how to bring you as an individual in, and that whole service of creating your pseudonymous entity, your estate, your planning, your will, your all your things. So you can be self-custodial and be your own bank, but we got your back. And that service is something we could also kind of spin into this. I'm using this for kind of jogging my head on. Essentially just trying to get some ideas flowing, and they do some interesting stuff from a different field, but it is the kind of the context of like a lot of my decisions lately and discussions has been on this identity approach and how to gain revenue from it. Hey, Henry, I'm going to shoot you I'll shoot you a link. You can hop in here. Yeah, and get Dirt. I already messaged Dirt Road. I was trying to get Dirt Road up, Justa. And then B-Rad, I sent you the link too. If you got the link, guys, and you're watching, just hop in. I'll throw you on here. We could spice it up. And then you can give your take on this. Just the same thing as a space. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to put video on. Just put your PFP right there. Same exact thing as a space. All right. I'm going to continue listening to this.
Whenever I run into a sort of a dogmatic writing take, whether it is, well, you should always do this or you should never do this, I can always think of a circumstance where actually don't do it like this, or actually you do want to do it like that. The problem is it all kind of comes down to received wisdom, and it tends to get handed down to people at the start of their writing career as the 10 Commandments a lot of the time. Right. I think that is very irresponsible.
Right. This isn't Moses talking to God. This is something that's worked for people.
I think that the most important thing that people need to know about writing is every writer does it differently. I mean, I know a lot of writers. I've been on lots of panels where we've all talked about our writing process. Every single writer does something that I personally find absolutely unthinkable. I mean, when I talk about, I never decide on the ending, and you should see the looks you get from some of the writers, because to them, that's the only thing I know, is I always know how it's going to end and how it's going to start, and you just have this long piece of string in the middle, and that might go anywhere. There's no one way of doing this, and at the end of it, you always converge on having a book. Anyone who says, well, you should always show rather than tell. And, you can absolutely tell too much. It's very easy to do so. I'm sure I do so on occasion. But on the other hand, my most successful book is Children of Time, and that is basically 60% exposition by volume. Because sometimes that is the best way of doing something. And I think there are certain writing traditions which I think are so entrenched, and people assume they are so unavoidable that it can be actively harmful. I mean, I do not like the idea of the hero's journey. It is very, very prevalent. There are people who will basically say, well, every story has got to conform to the hero's journey. And I've heard people why don't you like it? Because it's just one structure. The idea of saying, well, all this is the story that all stories must follow. I mean, if you listen to people who are talking about the hero's journey and how this book or that book conforms to the hero's journey, you will always get to this point. Well, I mean, obviously, and I guess this is kind of our descent into the underworld, and you can just think, well, it isn't. It's not, you're making it that because you know that there's got to be a descent into the underworld at this point of the hero's journey, but that's not actually what's going on in the book.
Right.
Because once you are reducing something that far, then you're left with a model that is completely worthless.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it is like modeling reality in any way. In order to get a model of something real that you can run through your statistical tests and get sort of valuable data out of, you have to simplify reality to the point that the data you're getting is actually useless. And it's very much that idea when you're trying to reduce writing to, well, these are the ways you write a book. So when I'm talking about the left wall, for example, or talking about the stone in the pool and that kind of thing, it's really more that just like, that is the easiest way I can think of to describe a fairly nebulous thing.
Right. Right. What you're saying is to hold models and maxims with a light grip.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's one of those, any piece of advice is useful so long as it doesn't basically become this is the law, because there's always going to be a situation where it's not true,
Sure.
including that piece of advice, I'm sure.
What makes for a good fight scene?
Well, fight scenes are a thing. So what have I done? I did several years of stage fighting, and I did well over a decade of live action role play, and I did 3 or 4 years of historical broadsword training at the Leeds Armories.
So you've thought a lot about this.
Well, the thing is, if you're writing epic fantasy, that's a lot of fights.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you're writing fantasy, you're also writing for a lot of people who have done one or more of those things. You are writing essentially for a fairly educated audience who know what end of a sword to stick into people. So when you write the scene where, yes, your sword has been broken, but you can still stab your enemy through with the jagged edge that goes through their breastplate, and what you hear then is the sound of a small but significant group of your readers throwing the book across the room because they know it doesn't work like that. They know the whole point of wearing armor is you can't just stab a broken sword through it.
Right.
Whereas once you've done a bit of the research, once you've done a bit of, historical European martial arts training and that kind of thing, yes, you stab them in the armpit where the breastplate doesn't go. And that is exactly because you need the ability of your arm. You cannot armor the armpit against being stabbed through. And at that point, that little section of your readers are going, yes, that's absolutely correct. And they do not throw the book across the room. In order to write really good engrossing fights, you need to have a sense of perspective and flow. There's he writes incredible fight scenes. He wrote a book called
can you hear me?
There is a very large battle in the heroes, which you are basically seeing through the slot in someone's visor, so that it is this enormous.
Can you hear me?
I do. I can hear you. I was turning off music. I didn't want to interrupt your program.
Music off?
What's that?
You mean turn my music off?
No, I don't hear your music, but I usually have jazz in the background, and so I know you're playing this for your hosting.
Yeah. All right. I like this layout. We can have a couple more of you pop in here. Go wake up Dirt.
He got kicked out of Welder's space.
Man, he getting kicked out of all the bees, the BBBBB spaces, all the stuff. He's getting kicked out everywhere. He's all angry on the timeline, being a spokesperson. He's a big spokesperson. Shout out Dirt Road, big spokesperson on the crypto Twitter.
Let me send. I'll just send him the link you sent me. Give me a second.
Yeah. I'm telling this is my drainer link. He ain't built a bankroll big enough to mess with at this point. We'll get him. I'll chop it up with you. I'll get you
your StreamYard drainer.
Okay. Yeah, we'll throw it on stream. We'll make him play a video game on stream. He won't suspect connecting a wallet in front of 500 people. We'll just drain him in front of everybody. All right, Thoreau, that's a skit that, of course, we would not actually steal Dirt's money. No, because it's not money. Nothing has intrinsic value.
No, I'm here to make him money. I like him too much.
Dude, he's a star. Like, we didn't even have to do much with him. He just came ready. He'd been studying. He'd been studying for a long ass time because of how much he knew, and he knew backstories of things. He's been studying.
Oh man, he's a genius. I notice people notice it now. When I first met him, he would just be in like bar fights every night, and now he's been adopted into different communities. I knew if we could get someone.
No, I'll be right back. You keep talking for the people.
Oh, good.
On people watching. Thank you for joining.
You got it.
In. This is Henry Thoreau. He's a representative of Justa Cabal on the Dirt Road in LA, the real LA, Lower Alabama. If you look at the map right here, he literally lives right here. Like I've been there. We talk about it. I even nailed the gas station right down the street. Right where he lives, which is great.
For $100, we do tours. $100 per person.
Yeah, I go hang out with Rich Boy, 21st, Fairrow, Mobile, Alabama. Shout out, throw some D's on it. But yeah, I was on a mission to get my dog. Thoreau, would you come off mic? And I'll be back in 2 minutes, if even that.
You got it. Yeah. So with Dirt, yeah, I wrote his his autobiography, or I'm sort of his ghostwriter. He lost all his money on the Conor McGregor fight because CTMZ in the past, a couple years ago, CTMZ knew that that Dirt would be on Spaces, and so she rigged this fight years ago so that Dirt would lose all his money. And so that's where I come into the story. And I wrote his story after he lost his money. I came in because now he's going to ride his donkey, because his bookie now has his car, his truck, and his dog. And so to get it back, we're going to have him ride his donkey to kill Tony, and that'll make him a celebrity, and then hopefully get it back. And then Drew took up the cause.
Like Don Quixote.
You got it. Well, and a lot like Rocky too.
How long you known Dirt?
God, it's been near the beginning. Yeah, because he'll always tell the story that I had more followers than him when I met him.
You met him in person or no?
Oh no, not really. No. I joke about meeting him in person.
All right. Yeah, I like that. Hey, pull up. Can you share your screen on there? Put the book on. Give us a walkthrough. You know, to entice us to spend 99 cents on Amazon and get the Just a Dirt Road book. Entice us. I want it. All right, bought it. But I want it. I want to have a reason to open up and read it. Yeah, like 90 pages. What the hell's going on over there? Give me a book report.
Well, the big thing is it's a screenplay. It's a screenplay.
And then I try to. I'm waiting for Amazon's AI to come out, but like the other LLMs, they hadn't indexed the Just a Dirt book, so this is like not indexed yet by AI, and Grok will get this audio. So be careful what you reveal to Grok in the Colossus 2 data center. Be careful.
You know, that's a great idea. A lot of people want him to narrate their books. I think that's a good idea. I would like him to narrate the book. I don't think I can keep him focused or awake long enough.
Hey, Master Johnson, come up here, man. Check in from Nigeria. All right, back to you, Thoreau.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can keep him awake, or I thought if he could narrate the book from his donkey, like reading it while he's on his donkey and just with the donkey kind of moving around and that gets captured. I don't know. For me, I think that would sound funny. But I think Jason wants him to narrate his book, and so I think that's probably priority for him.
Yeah, that's a big role. I like that. Yeah. Big Bill, Master Johnson. Yeah. Chicken honey. I ran to the honey farm today. They didn't have their apiary was closed. Closes at 3 p.m. on a weekend. Who knew? It's open at 5 on the other days. So this is actually store bought. It says raw and unfiltered, but it's a piece of shit. But it says Florida. I don't believe any of it. It's bullshit. It's corn syrup. Drinking some corn syrup. But the link, Big Bill, Master Johnson, is coming to you. So let me hit the link. Thoreau, when I'm having technical difficulties here on the device, can you entertain the people? And everything in between. Is to a queen. I want to drown in the dopamine. Oh, he's coming on camera? Thoreau. Big Bill, Master Johnson, check your DMs on the X. Can't get it up. I got unfortunately, I remember. Connotations for the Unicode at that time in my head. Here we are. Thoreau, you're on the screen. I can hear you typing.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to adjust this.
Okay.
Yeah, I connected it to my to my account, and I was going to rebroadcast it.
Yeah, I know. And to imagine Dirt Road thinks your technical skills are through the roof.
Well, relative to who?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's your client, and look at your technical skills in comparison. It really is a cool thing. Like literally, our internet computer club friend, or just computer club friend, not even on the internet, it's on a different database thing. But like our friend has a book on Amazon written by Thoreau. So Thoreau, I'm gonna go since you're on here, we can go this way. Boom. Welcome. Welcome to Web3 Journey. This is episode 44. 44.
And my face has been seen like on Gary's show. Like he had me on many times, and so I'm not really. The big thing for me is, man, just don't show up and do that shit that Easy does, where he's threatening to kill you, man. Like that. What the fuck is wrong with people? Who does that shit?
I want to point out that Big Bill Master Johnson's in the house. He is part of my security team, and he's running point for security for the rest of the show. So if I get yanked off the stage, if things get bleeped out, if anything happens, you know who it went through, this stream connection. So very good on the security side, like encryption stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I got a problem. I ran over my phone with a 1-ton yesterday. So my camera, both cameras are crushed.
Your mic does sound good though. Like mic is good.
Yeah, the headset, the USB-C is working.
Okay, so you
The
got
phone's a write-off. I took it in for a quote today, $1,400, practically the cost of a new phone.
now. I know you've been traveling through Ooga Booga territory. Did you go all the way down to Legoland with Counselor? Or did you stay up there by Fancy Max in his cabin and the ganja farm?
No, we stayed by the cabin. We're gonna go to Lagos maybe in a couple months.
Is he gotten how close? I mean, he's in the early stages of development, right? We don't have anywhere near the 42 yet.
No. It's just groundbreaking right now. We got a survey for boreholes for a well. Yeah, there's still a lot to go on.
Carbon credits with those two girls in Dubai. How did that? Are they still paying? Is that good?
I haven't heard from them really. They've been MIA. So
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I'll shoot a message on Telegram wire. Pablo Drive.
Yeah. Everything good with you?
Yeah, we're getting in the book writing business with Thoreau here. Thoreau, do you want to
Nice.
meet Master Johnson? He's OG. You know, kind of like you heard that book, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, like a guy that can make things happen, waves on the blockchains. That's a good guy. So yeah, Thoreau is our publisher of the first book on Just a Dirt Road. It's a series. There's accompanying coloring books that are coming out. There's also some characters coming out in Wally World, you know, from Bentonville, Arkansas. That little chain of stores they got going on. And then they have an online thing too. I mean, Dirt is like hitting it. Like we had some plans for our young man. Like we're gonna throw him in there, just see how quick of a learner he was. Like, he like LeBron straight out of high school. Woo! It's to the roof. So Thoreau was about to tell us about the book. Big Bill, you got time to stay and listen to the book?
Oh, we got all the time in the world. Let's go.
All right.
How are you, Big Bill?
I'm kind of jamming out to the music, and I have an idea. All right, I'll just listen, but I'll listen more to the music.
Yeah, so me and Dirt became friends. We would hang out in spaces together, and he would fight with people, and there was like bar fighting online, and so I found that really entertaining. So I would go hang out with him in these spaces as he was growing his audience, and I realized like he had skill. Like it wasn't, there's a lot of drunks in the world, but they're not all funny. And he just had this special character that and there was an interesting thing about him that he allows you to build on him. A lot of men will allow you the freedom.
I didn't watch this movie. It's a story about my grandfather, Pop Farmer. He's from Wetumpka, Alabama, which is kind of from Auburn, which is Auburn's a little bit north. They call it the Plains. Is where the Auburn Tigers are from. Tim Cook, former CEO of Apple, is from there. That town a little bit north of there is anyway, Lake Martin, and on that lake is this little town my grandfather was born in. And the movie is about that same archetype. My grandfather, Pop Farmer, his two nieces were in the movie, and it was filmed in his town, kind of about him. And it's about this archetype of the white man in the South whose parents didn't own a plantation, and there were 8 million free laborers. So as a white man that doesn't own land, or at least not a plantation, how do you compete in that world? And it became like a sales, and it became this kind of like especially like from Appalachian, but also out of the Barbados cultures, the Deep South culture. It's this kind of passing on generational through storytelling, and passing on lessons from generations through storytelling, and creating these archetypes of like my pop. He always had these stories. He was a traveling salesman of plastic flowers. Like the highest markup possible of oil is plastic flowers. Like this little bit of oil, and this, and like they can sell the boy. Who cares? It's, it costs a penny a bushel. And so he would have all these stories. He went to Ohio, came back with this story, always going down to Atlanta, and he came back for like talking about the hotel, the people he met, and just all this chaos. So like, at the end of the movie, there's a funeral, and the same thing like when we went to Pop's funeral, Pete Garcia, the owner of the flower company, flew in on a private jet, and like this, like he was like such a giant to us, and like that he was actually real, and that he would come, and then that these other people, the people from Atlanta, and these other people that came, and just kind of like meeting and finding out that those stories that you heard over and over and over. And so that big fish story is very accurate for Dirt. And then there's another book I'm having them go into, which is The Fish That Ate the Whale, and that's about the guy out of New Orleans that went down and set up all the Banana Republics and created United Fruit Company. And that whole journey to getting that going it's a great book. So those are kind of the two that I've kind of pushed him towards, kind of tapping into the persona and what he's building, the caricature of this. I mean, you are starting a DAO. You are starting something that should be separate from your identity so that you can sell it. And you should start as many as you can. Start with 5 and work your way up. Some days you may feel like being this character in the metaverse game. Some days you may feel like being this character. Like you have different devices. The device over here, or the one in my truck, I'm this character, and I follow different people. I do different things when I'm those personas, but each one of those can be sold. So you really are building a much more powerful adult Roblox game, and you could create your own in-game token and blah, blah, blah. And it's completely decentralized, and the whole thing can be sold. And so when you think about your pseudonymous identity more that way, there's some really cool stuff, especially when you get like a publicist on your side and a good team behind you that's looking for that type of talent. And like where I'm focused with like Rilla Blanco, Mary Jane, some of these people, is this concept of having like just like a class. Like, hey, come, we'll do a class once a week. Kind of not like a master class per se, but I mean you could get to that. But like initially, just like sessions. We're just having a session, hop in and I was watching Wolf of Wall Street, and I was thinking Wolf of Dirt Road, and I was kind of, as I was watching it, because I just talked to him in Spaces, he was DMing me throughout the movie, like, come back. And so I was thinking the movie about Dirt being up there, and like in his town being the Wolf of Dirt Road, and then like kind of looking at different people and like what would that look like in their stories, and how could we make that more happen, because it onboards people into the saloon. Now, he may be onboarded in a bad way, but they can onboard people different ways, however they want. But they're in the game, and that's a DAO. That's a DAO with external revenue streams that's feeding its stuff, and it's really a private equity group that then can invest, play and do other stuff. Like your wallet is your private equity group, your personal, for at least that group is like a little separate LLC. So Anyway, Thoreau, back to you. I don't think you've told us about the book yet. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah. So, well, with Dirt, so I'm a trader. So during the down markets, I have time on my hands, and because a lot of my money gets invested, so I just sit around and I just kind of watch the market and try not to think about it a lot. So during this period of time, like I wrote about the Cardones last cycle. I have a 3-part series on the Cardone brothers. After Grant did his speech in Coachella, I thought of them like as superheroes, because they told stories where he lived under the like a bridge or something, like him and Gary. And so I was like, well, how could I develop that? Anyway, I did some stories with that, and then I proceeded to do more stories on people that I knew, and I kind of had the idea that the people that I meet on Spaces that are entertaining to me, how to build them into more of a superhero character. And then when I met Dirt, he really fascinated me in I can't get enough of it. And the truth is, most people can't, except the people he's focused on. Like tonight, he was kicked out of a space. So based on that, but people don't understand. People come for that. That's what it's the same thing with Easy's character. Like they come for that. So you don't kick a guy out for that. That's what they're there for. So the more upset they are at you, and even if it's at me, like you have to learn to take it, because that is the story. That is part of it, and that's what the people want. So with Dirt's story, I thought it was funny because he was having a feud with CTMZ. So I thought it would be funny if we had a mud wrestling match between her and him. So first thing I did was put a space together where they got the feud and had this mud wrestling space. And so I thought that was very entertaining. And then I thought, well, why don't we develop that into a book? And then I just wrote a screenplay basically and published it. People have told me it's too long. So I've had a doctor tell me that it's too long. So if she thinks it's too long, it's probably too long. So I'll likely write small, very, very short screenplays, because it's not about the 99 cents. The 99 cents is just what's necessary to get it out there. This isn't really a money-making opportunity, the book itself. The idea is to have a number of outlets that we're getting Dirt shown in. So books, more comedy shows. If I try to get him on Danny Mullen's show, I don't know if you know him. He's a comedian out of California. I think Dirt's finally getting it now. I wasn't sure if he understood before how the comedy works, because I'm not a comedian, but he can develop that into a skill, because he already has the natural ability. Go ahead.
He got the ability to connect in a short time frame, and comedians from the first time they get on the stage have to, like, I had some friends that did HBO specials as comedians, and like Charlie Chris is a college buddy of mine, and he's huge. And like, you gotta real quick, and even now more so in the 7-second clipping world, we need somebody with poignant one-liners, very poignant one-liners, and you can give those scripts to him. Hey, Dirt, work this line in at some point. This is AI said this would be real funny. Let's try this one out. We could just A/B test, and like, as a true plant, like AI bots are not good for a project. KYC off-ramp plants, ooh, the off-ramp through somebody else's KYC as a plan, do a little split, blah blah blah, whatever, and Fugazi, like the whole thing. If you have a whole network of people that you've brought in, trained up, and got them going, it's a multi-level marketing. Like, just pass it on down, like you'll be fine.
Yeah, for me, the goal was to connect him with more people, because I don't have the connections to build him as a brand, but I like him as a friend. And it's a true, like, a lot of people, I don't think they really like him. I like him. It just says, when I say he's genuine, I'm not joking about that. I make jokes about the character itself, but as a man, I think he's the most genuine man I've met on X. And I'm not fucking around when I say that.
You post stuff. I just had you may be able to try to think you can explain it better, but you cannot add more authenticity to the feeling of the all in the crypto saloon. And that clip, and I guess I could play it here. I could figure this out. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that he brings. Let's figure this out. I'm gonna play it. All right, let's go.
Yeah, my goal was to give him enough notoriety and connect him with enough people that somebody else would pick him up and work with him, kind of develop him, because they just like him. Because think about this, like Drew, like once you have enough money to live, like I don't give a shit about much things. Like I care about the things that I just like. And I like him, and so for me to see him grow is kind of like it's fun.
Hey, my dog's barking out here.
That's all right. But so that was my real intent with Dirt in writing the first screenplay. And then I thought I would continue it. Again, I'm hoping that someone who has more skill will pick it up, because I don't have the skill to make him a star, but I think he has the makings of a star. And I think in terms like I try to get Jason to acknowledge like doing a Cannonball Run type tour where we would all meet up. And I'm not joking about this. I would get in a Ferrari and drive across the country with Dirt at high speed.
I've been planning a trip to Nigeria for a while. I really want to do that.
Hopefully you make it back.
I mean, Big Bill and Master Johnson went out to see Spansy's cabin. That's what we were saying. Like, I want to go. I booked flights back in December, and I canceled. I was trying to reschedule for July, but I couldn't ever pick the dates that were with my kids. So,
No, it's coming in due time. Patience. Yeah.
yeah. But I want to share the screen and we can play it. It looks like it's going to work. Why you want to hurt me?
Is this the one with Jason and Zentari?
Nah, this is the one that just came out. Let me see if I can go full screen on it. Yeah, there you go. So what I said, she said, was explain more thoroughly or authentically than just a dirt road, the true all-in mentality of our shitcoin saloon. And then here's his audio clip. It's a minute long.
This is my play. I like Jason. I'm down right now too, and I don't care though either way. But like, I don't want to believe in meme coins. If we can't do something off of this, I'm just not interested. That's it. Like, I'm just not. I'd rather put my money in where I've been, in my Bitcoin, in my Ethereum positions, in like my small body. What I do with Solana. Solana's the newest one I did just this year. I'll be honest. I've not been in Solana. I'm not an early investor, none of that. And this is what I'm doing in my head. But I'm here now because I like y'all, and I think that we might have a situation on this. And if this don't work, this is me. This is just my opinion. I'm done. As a person. And do it mean that it don't for the whole crypto community or no meme coins gonna launder it? If this don't work for me in my head, I'm done. And do I have any plan? Like, I'm losing to the end. I'm down over $12,000 type. And I'll take it to this whatever. I'll take it. I'll be here, but if it ain't, then it ain't. And I don't need to be around y'all no more. And that's it. Because no one paid. I don't got insider. No one's like, let me hurry up and pay him. And I know CTMZ clip it up in the bottom. But just the people that claim I'm going to pay further. I wish I got paid for the shit I did. Seriously, if you could give me money for what I've done, like I'm going to post my shit at the end of the night and just pay me. Like, I'd love it. I'd love to get paid for what I've done, but I haven't been paid shit.
I hear you. Can't escape. What?
That's not his best one though. Like he does this comedy. That one he was crashing out a little bit.
Yeah, but he's getting it more and more concise, more and more poignant, and more clippable. Like that, he's getting close to being clippable. And like once it's clippable, and we got a widget with like books and shit on the back end, and a scaling and a course and a fucking master class and all the shit, we scale. And the clipping industry can scale. He can sell millions of books within a month with the clipping. And
Do you think so? Yeah, like I said, my goal with writing the books were to get him publicity
across social media platforms. That was in April. It is cheaper now. Cheaper now.
Yeah, I think as he grows his persona, because I think that was just that for some reason he was arguing with that woman. I'm not sure why, and then she kept dropping him on the stage. That's not his best clips though. He has these. Some of his clips make me laugh. Like we had the lady from Solana, Amy from Solana, the other day in a space with Jason, and she literally said she couldn't get enough of him. And it's true. Like him as the character for Dirt as the head of comms for Jason's Coin, it's really good pairing. It's what would it be like? Chris Farley and
Bill Dandy, and he was just like, and then the South will rise again. You know, Vamp Attack. Let's go, boys. You can see. Hey, did you see this video I did? Jim friends, Drew Roberts reporting live from the swamp. Was just, I think it was on this device, one of these burners, was on it, and they were asking about going parabolic on the blockchain, specifically on the Salami chain. There's this DBB movement. I think it's like 42C or something. Anyway, a bunch of like kind of like inside jokes. DJ speak, talk to kind of get their family and friend round into a movement that is mimetic as far as like onboarding people in cryptocurrency. So it's a mimetic movement using somebody's kind of AI face and this JSON like an API style format. So they were asking about like valuations in terms of dollars, liquidity, the structure of how it's done with the supply, and essentially the tokenomics, and if it was worth the billions, like if it will be worth billions and billions. And I just said, I pretty much just said, hey, I'm down in the swamp. Here's my viewpoint. I'm not a trader. I'm not into it from that, but I do think these type of token movements, if they're onboarding normies, regular people out in the culture into using blockchain technology and getting them down their Web3 journey, down that rabbit hole towards the ethos of like the cypherpunk and where we're going with it, then it's worth billions and billions.
Billions and 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 billions and.
You still there, Thoreau?
Oh, I am. I was letting Steve Bannon be the background for Trump. He was such a great supporter, patriot.
Anyway, I don't know if you want me to play. I can play more. Gorilla Blanco doing the karaoke. He killed it.
I miss Guru. Where is
That
Guru?
was awesome.
I might be a weak child, but I give you strength. Oh, yeah. You told me that you need me. You told me that you need you alone. My father said, come on home. But my doctor said, take it easy. But loving you is much too strong. Change. Oh, one of these mornings, the chain is gonna break. But until then, yeah, I'm gonna take all I can take. Oh, yeah. Chain, 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 chain the fools. 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 Oh, there you go.
So yeah, there you go.
That was great. That was great. I love that. Yeah, when I was DMing, he was saying that he liked Michael, and that's what it was. Immediately when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, Michael." You don't know what I mean, Michael?
Michael Seller. He's a seller.
No,
Ticker
no,
seller.
no. The movie, Michael.
Yeah. I haven't
What,
seen
the
that.
angel, Michael?
Yeah, the angel, Michael. Yeah, the archangel.
Right on. I miss Gorilla. How's he doing, Drew? I haven't seen him in a while.
Big deals, big deals. Drill doing big things.
That's it. Go big or go home.
Perfect ramp. Woo.
Nice.
See this? And add value that way.
Forgotten Legends.
Niggas flow through outer space with smiles upon their face. They do. Oh, you niggas, you move. Niggas, the galaxy welcomes you. Niggas, moon, use a nigga.
You like that?
Holy
That was a
shit,
funny
man.
one.
So when we get this, when we start, run some digital money on this shit, every one of those segments is a commercial segment. It's a shitcoin launch at the beginning of the commercial. Boom. Now the next one's shitcoin launch. We'll do 3 per break in the intermission. Just like fucking cable television. Here's some shitcoin launches. Here's some shitcoin launches, you degenerate gamblers. Shitcoin launches. We're willing. We by default will launch a shitcoin at that that 1 minute or 30-second mark. We will, but also we would happily take 10 grand if you want that little 30-second clip. You run your own commercial. Your shitcoin already existed, and they're used to aping in first. And this is just a commercial for a shitcoin that already existed. I think it's worth 10 grand. Hop on our cable channel 24 hours a day down here in the swamp. Appreciate it.
Well, like Disney should have a character of dirt. You know what I mean?
Disney.
Like,
I'm in Orlando.
you're over there by Billy Boy's Tickets, right? Do you know Billy?
The gorilla does though.
Does he? Yeah. Billy could market him, and I know Billy. He could market the shit out of him.
We have so many talent agencies here in Orlando. We just run all of our fucking pseudonymous identities, and we literally hire a PR agency. I got a perfect one here in town. Already has been in my shitcoins. The CEO of one with 50 employees. She has personally been involved in my shitcoins.
Yeah. Well, what you guys are doing, it's interesting. Like with Dirt, I think with Dirt though, he really wants. It shouldn't be a shit coin. It should be his coin that isn't being a rug I don't think he talks about it, but he and I talked about it a little bit.
I'll send you my full tokenomics recommendation. I already put it together.
Yeah, I think he's special, and the fact that he ties the comedy to it, you could use it as a supportive coin, right? Like a coin that actually you're not buying it to make money, you're buying it to support him.
Correct. Be a part of the journey. I'm going to participate in this journey. I'm in his club. And like it's as simple as a computer club. People make it so complicated. I have an IP address, an email address, a bank account, or whatever you want to think about that wallet address as. I have that email address, that IP address on this blockchain, and I can get a domain name for it, and I can get this other stuff, and I can interact with people, and I can join clubs, and I could join Dirt Road's club and learn from him. Like, how is he so successful so fast? How can I take those learnings and apply to mine? Why wouldn't you want to be part of a club like that? Like, you can learn. It's more of a mastermind club. Like, here's our way. Here's our strategy of navigating. Help us strategize better. Help us build this brand better. And we need to have it be a prototype for what we can offshoot characters we can build within our little world, which is kind of how we started this live stream, with the creation of a world in a fiction book.
You know, and you could reach out to the Central Florida football team, maybe, because I know some of those guys were wanting to build brands. Because what you're talking about is brand building, right? You can connect people.
We got the people, yeah. We're not concerned about the people.
Oh, okay, you already got.
We're perfecting the model with some outlier examples, and when we got that, we're creating the courses. We're getting the infrastructure done, so then we can just blitz it.
Yeah, I could see Dirt touring. Danny Mullen, I don't know if you're familiar with his comedy, but he does extreme comedy. He would do the comedy that like you and I would have done when we were young, probably, where we would go out on the street and just fuck with people, and he records it, but he's good at it. Like you see, he makes a lot of money doing this. He has a YouTube channel, but I thought if I could get him. See, Dirt needs a ringleader, like the Jason counterpart works really good, right? Juxtaposed to Jason, he is really
First time I saw you, I knew you was gonna be trouble. Then you turned and walked away, and I saw them bubbles. Right then and there, I knew you was gonna be the situation. You look as fine as 199 to the comb. Want you to keep me up until the cows come home. Wanna take it straight to the dome. I'm feeling infatuation. Can't control my breathing, can't stay calm. Your body's hotter than a brothel in Guam. But that loving on me, it goes off like a bomb. It's detonation. Ain't no doubt about it, girl. Your situation. Ever since the day that we met, wanna get you wet, wanna make you sweat, wanna make the walls in the room with a sensation. Girl, I'm trying to tell you now, we got a situation.
All right. Continue on. A little more serious topic. Lunch intermission.
Not that many people that are worth interacting with, I would say.
What do you mean?
Like most people are extremely jester,
Like they're funny, or like they're just like
just have completely misprioritized lives. I would say the average person that you meet who's like an enjoyer of sports, who drinks beer, for example, you know, let's go have a beer at the pub and watch Sunday football. Like that's the worst thing that you could do. I wouldn't say people in general. I'd say that there's certain people that you could certainly learn from, but the average person that you encounter is literally like Ladaring watching like a baseball game. Yeah, I mean, there's really not that many people that are worth interacting with, I would say.
Boom. Clavicular. That's Gorilla Blanco's guy helped put on the map. Shout out to Gorilla Blanco giving us bone crushing to the map. And my daughters asked me about mogging. They're like, boys in school they're doing this with their mouth. And they're trying to suck their upper. It's called mewing. I don't know. Like I got a guy down in Miami who's into that, but I'm not really not putting you around that guy. You're my 13-year-old daughter. I would kill that guy. So yeah, I mean, like for me, it's interesting. Like with that vernacular, those conversations with Dirt Road and those what is Ladar? And then he'll start saying Ladar from then on. And like we've got the definition in his own words. We can add that to like his website, you know, his whole caricature, his whole like slang dictionary, you know, DGen speak on Just the Dirt Road. And that they come the sound bites, the clips, and they kind of even put that in a coloring book with everybody's PFPs when they said it. Like this is their, you know, and just get your little pencils out and fill in a bunch of little things.
Yeah, as much as I would like to think that like writing is important, I actually think the coloring book would be more successful. I think most people on X color more than they write or read.
Yeah, I mean, an audio book would be good too. I could take Dirt lessons from Just the Road, lessons from Just the Dirt Road. I can go listen on a walk, and it's got to be like his voice for the first little bit, and then like a real person to explain what the hell he just said, like a lady. A night like get Mary Jane or somebody like that to then explain, to mansplain what Dirt was saying. And it's like that one book that dude that ran the Iron Man or some shit, the Navy SEAL guy got kicked out of Navy SEAL. Goggins. It's like Goggins' book. Ain't nobody want to listen to that jackass. So like he would read the intro to the chapter, like his retelling, and they would tell the story how it actually happened, and like fill the details of what the hell he was talking about. So same concept. We do for the audio book would kill it because he don't even do anything other than you just ask him in spaces, and you got the audio clever to put in the fucking book and let it roll. Have AI chop that shit up and get it out the door.
We need the ringleader though, like because Jason's a good ringleader, but we need a ringleader, like someone who actually can steer. So, did you go Google Danny Mullen to see who I'm talking? Like, he's a ringleader.
I had him off Gorilla Bronco, but I got him for now.
It's, but it needs that. Some guys just have that ability where they can just steer the comedy from just chaos into comedy because the chaos is really entertaining, but if it's not steered properly, it's just chaos. It doesn't become funny.
We use this platform, this medium. We can bring in spaces and put it right there on that screen. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can go right here and create a space right now, and we can bring it into this medium. And then what I've been working on with Lil Chase from the Decentralized Legoland is like an OBS filter that is, you know how like on Snapchat and stuff, AI can remove the background and can put the thing on your face and put you and do all that. To have that for spaces where it's got their PFP and the AI is doing the live filtering, it's just taking the audio from this and the inputs of whose mic is moving, and you know, and it's learning the voice real quick, assigning it with that mic, and so then it's just taking that audio and doing a cool display for us to run 24 fucking hours a day with our shitcoin launches in it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, because I see what you're saying. Because we don't know if Dirt would be a good physical comedian. Like I don't know. Like I know his voice is great.
Everybody should do a segment. Like everybody's got a segment. Dirk can do a longer segment. Some people can do a real short segment. Somebody can just come up and say, "Hey, I saw this new token launch over on Pump," or "Hey, did you see what happened in this drama in this community?" And it's just a show. It's just cable network. Like we're just a cable network.
Yeah, live cable. Yeah, true real life, like absolutely real life, not the package stuff.
Cable network. Let's go. And you can get involved. Take our master class. We'll put you in the script.
That's interesting. So you could just have waivers where people voluntarily. Because the hard part for me when I write about people is that they have to let me write about them. You know what I mean? Because I have my image of what I think something is, but that can be really damaging to another man's perception of himself. And so I try to think about that. But with Dirt, he's giving me like free reign to just go crazy with whatever I think is just fine.
They deleted one of my spaces. I'm going to download my stuff, see if I got it in there. If not, they literally... That was the one I went off for like 30 minutes on Sam Altman.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you had a deleted space.
Yeah.
I was like, Drew doesn't delete.
They were shut me down in that space. That's why I kept like disconnecting. And they just fucking deleted it. That's when I was talking about their data centers being, we need more AI data centers so that we can have a police state of live video footage into data centers with AI analysis. There ain't nothing fucking going on about a prompt back and forth. Do you know how much a fucking 7 Encyclopedia Britannica code base can go to an LLM in a prompt? That's a context window. They ain't no, and it doesn't need that many tokens. They ain't no token uses. Like we're not burning through data centers. We're fucking burning through data centers. Not yet. It's they want the 8,000 satellite views, live aerial tracking of the different SimCity kids, and then they want the Tesla cameras all around it, everywhere in the streets, boots on the ground footage. They want the cameras in the in the city and the traffic light cameras, see which license plate goes through this intersection. They're just fucking surveillance, and then plus everybody's data, and then everybody's audio, mics, cameras, all that shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. I just don't get it. Why they don't put these data centers in the ocean? For everyone complains about all the water it uses and everything.
It's my favorite Suno.com banner, or maybe it's on Spotify already. But data centers in space, just AI.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
data centers in space.
Lady Rocket talks about that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. All right, fear mongering at its finest. Fear mongering. What the hell is going on with my feet? Oh, these aren't even people I follow. All right. We could join a space, I think. I don't know how to get my audio into that space, though, because my audio is going in this input. It might work.
Can you play the Zentani? Can you play the Zentani one?
Where is it? On CTMZ's?
No, on Zentani's. What she has it pinned to her profile.
I have to do what on her profile? Listen to her voice?
No, she has that skit. Did you not see the skit that she made? She did a great job. She did what you were saying, but she actually went and made it. There it is.
Don't follow me.
A good idea, dude. I would just love to hear any of you guys that think, yeah, not a good idea, dude.
I do believe that if you launch that shit, Grant, I deserve the early CA. I really appreciate that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's my head of comms right there, Grant. I'm happy to
that dude's your head of comms.
Yeah, he's head of comms for my project, and actually
that is fucking terrifying.
You ever heard of fractional CFO?
Yes,
Well, I have. He's a fractional comms guy. He is brilliant.
He sounds like, I mean, he had to be brilliant to survive that long with that fucking voice.
He is brilliant, man.
Zentani what's Zentani's position going to be?
Don't come for me. No one come for me. I will fucking eat all of you alive.
I would just love to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that.
Is that good or what? I love that. She's really skilled. People came after her the other day, but she has because she put that together. That was a skit, or that really happened, but she pieced it together and made it even more funny than it was.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's what. I haven't seen this one. This one just happened?
This is my favorite.
I'm good, bro.
You're a scumbag, but you're better than some scumbags, right?
You going by,
and that's how I feel, and that's my opinion. Everyone else might love you. There might be a fella down there, that's Caddy. That's my favorite.
I'm good, bro.
You're
Don't
allowed
worry.
that. Like you can have fans,
but explain to him what you're, because I know. So look, let's let him speak for a second. But listen, all right, hear me out, because you're gonna learn something here. Like, believe me, because Caddy does, like, whatever Caddy does, if you listen to him talk, like, he admits it too. Like, and he'll tell you, like if people are gonna degen or whatever they're gonna buy, like listen to, because like he said something earlier, and I was like, man, he's 100% on. But it's a different way, like you notice how Caddy is not opening up spaces, like he's not.
I can't really hear you.
Not opening up space. So like, and this is just my opinion.
It's 6 minutes long. You mean keep going, or is that good?
Oh no, it's good. I listened to this. This is funny. Yeah, he gets going.
400 followers, though. No one's going to go to his space from a scammer with 400 followers either, though. Like, he needs a leech, man. That's the truth, though, too. Like, that's how I feel. Like, this motherfucker needs someone to platform because he's scamming through the roof. But continue.
No, what I'm saying is I've known Caddy when he had a lot of followers, right? And what I'm saying is he never opened up a space and did the things that you're referring to. What he done, what I see him do is he degens. He buys in and he promotes the fuck out of his bag on the timeline. And you know who buys in? Other people that have the ability to know what Caddy's doing and saying, okay, there's still meat left on the bone. I'll get in here and I'll help push with Caddy. So like, that's something that I think is missed here, that like people don't realize. A lot of times it is the other people. So, and then, you know, there's like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's meat on the bone. So, and that's the thing. It's like, they'll be pushed. But then you have to remember.
So he jump in early and give y'all an opportunity. Like Ron, it's like Ron 2.0, but he can't host a morning space. Like this Ron, but he is not involved in a 9 a.m., 10 a.m. morning space. And that's fine. And that's good, Katie. But I never, because you don't even give good TA. Like, do you at least do TA on your, or is it all bullshit? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, I do a lot of TAs. You know what's my TA? $1 billion. That's my dream.
Well, that's
I want to steal
Ron's
$1
thing.
billion
To save his
meme
ass
coin.
is he gives you a little bit of TA, a little bit of news while he's fucking in your ass. So, I mean, if you did do a little TA on the side, you might get more dumbasses to buy whatever the hell you put in this, right? Like, that's how it goes.
But look, just you gotta also understand memes. Like, for a meme to go high, right, and not go down, and not like, it's not about being a scammer or a rug. It's about having conviction in the sense, like, all right, how viral could it go? Like, how fast could it rise? Like, there's a lot of things. Like, Easy says, right. Like, if I'm shilling a narrative, and if you understand the fucking narrative, you get the play, right. It could go places, and like, even if Easy sells, or even if I sell, look at what happened with Troll. I shilled Troll for 24 hours at 15K. At 15K, at 6%, sold most of it. Some other fucking people loved the fucking narrative, took it to 350 million. Now, what do you say? Caddy scammed me on Troll? Why don't you say Caddy gave you a fucking 50,000 X? All you had to do, just get it one sold. You would have made 50,000 sold.
right? So there's a lot of things. I play the game. I push the narrative.
There's gonna be losers, and you saying
somebody
that,
gotta
and I
lose,
know
somebody
that
gotta
at least
win.
like you've been blocked, banned, thrown through the ringer. I know there's losers, and I know the corny games y'all play. I know what y'all, and it's fine. Like I said, people that do like, I believe that anyone that buys your bullshit is hardcore gambling, though. Like you really
No, but
put
you're
it
not
like
buying my shit. It's not my shit. It's the
you
narrative.
it's not
You
yours
get it
because you just
confused.
posted it, but when you posted it, you're like,
What
that's
do you
my
mean? So
opinion. So you try to tell me I have
posted
a different
McDonald's
opinion
doesn't
how
mean
I
I
feel.
own
So
a
when you
McDonald's or a
post
Walmart,
something,
man.
it's
Come on.
yours, though, in my eyes, man.
Listen, it's
It's like the wrong thing. Like, I'm going to start, look, man, I might be the most devious, fucked up, tell him easy. I might be a piece of shit here at the end of the day. Y'all training me the wrong direction, though.
No,
Seriously.
but you're not.
Like,
You're fighting
what
against the
fuck is
grain.
going on?
You
Like, I
can't
feel
go-
like I'm in the
you can't go
Menards paint
against the
aisle, and a
grain,
can
bro.
of paint is
Solana's
left
been
open,
doing
and
this
I'm
thing
just
for
getting
years,
man.
years.
Like, I'm getting fucked up in there. I'm about to pass out with you, man. You can't even afford to walk out with your bag of paint. You going in there spray painting in a bag and passing out in the store. Like, that's the whole issue, man.
Listen, man, you just got to get in because you never know. It takes one. Trust me, it takes one. Just takes one.
I'm so confused. I'm trying to understand, what did Ron do? Like, what did I miss? Because every time I fall asleep, I swear I missed something in crypto Twitter.
Man, Jesus, like, look, so the fella, this is it. The last time I'll tell y'all wrong shit. This how I feel, personal opinion. The fella was getting 13 damn listeners before TBB. He was pushing a shit that went to nothing, that never did nothing, called Ankita. Okay, and he does his TA. That is great. If you listen to just the TA, good for you. You smart, man. If you buy this motherfucker shit he put in his nest, he's a piece of shit. He got in early. I'm pretty sure he's like, I know Easy probably also kind of dumping TBB, something like y'all trying to dump the chart and make, but y'all also pushing TBBBBB, which is like giving rewards. So this whole thing, though, at the end of the day, I appreciate y'all, but this place is a fucking trip. I feel like people are playing spin the tail on a donkey, spinning me around so many times. I don't even know if I'm touching a wall at this point, man. I'm just pricking folks around me. So this.
Yeah, it's good. He's got the big fish. He can do a big fish lure. He got it down right there. Shows it.
Yeah, he's tremendous.
What's going on down here? Have you seen these? Which one of these are worth putting on?
Man, I don't know. They did a lot tonight. He went on. He went talking about Ron for a while. These aren't his best skits, by the way, but they're.
He's in some of these.
I think he's mixing his beers. He's mixing his beer with liquor.
Yeah,
I think that's a problem.
With the Bush life.
Yeah. Bush seems to work for him in a comedy. You got to remember that any bookings that you get for him, he needs only Bush backstage, like Bush.
10-4. You know, I live in the town where Larry the Cable Guy came from. His first radio show was here in Orlando, and like he got hooked in with some of these promoters down from Disney, and that's what put him on.
Is that how he got picked up? No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yo.
They sent him somewhere after they had like something in Kansas City or something they sent him to. Like that was his first big step up to have an opportunity. But he was already running a daily show, morning show type thing.
Like in Orlando, like a radio show?
Yeah, while I was down here for high school, my senior year, going to football practice and shit, we listened to Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I did not know that. And I'm from Florida.
What's up, Nigeria? Yeah, let's get a Nigeria map on the screen. I feel like they need to be welcomed correctly. What the hell? That's oh, I said welcome. What? I wouldn't have put that in. All right. Let's see. That's the old map. That's 19. This one's too crowded. No. That looks like today's.
We should get Gary Cardone on here tonight.
I'm not that big a fan of the Cardones.
You don't like the Cardones? Oh man, Gary gets funny at night.
Not my type. You know what I mean? I like Southerners. Like I don't trust a verify. And if I verify you a Yankee Doodle Dandy, fuck, I ain't trusting you in Web3. Aggression, man. Ain't nobody in my family ever gonna trust you motherfuckers. And the whole reason I'm in crypto is to rob you motherfuckers on Wall Street, all your banker cousins and your tech elite cousins that went, from the MIT out to Cali. Fuck y'all.
Well, they're from Louisiana.
Who that?
They got the original hot sauce. They are.
Cardones? Is that what you're saying? I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about
did you not know that?
I know nothing about those two, other than food spaces.
Louisiana, man. Louisiana. They're cousins to Dirt.
They're actually from Louisiana, which I don't hear. I don't hear a fucking thing about Louisiana in their voice. So if they're actually from Louisiana, then the fish that ate the whale, they got to read with Dirt, and we got to have a book club. Book club starting next week. We're having a book club.
Yes, we should do that. Gary would balance Dirt really well.
We're having a book club. All right, and I'm gonna put on our book club song. That one's pretty good. That's Montgomery, which is like within 30 minutes of Dirt, was Antoine Dodson. But the one I was trying to do, this is the Dirt entry song. This guy lives in Mobile to this day. I was talking to Rich Boy about him. I'm gonna get him into crypto Twitter. This motherfucker, he's a hype man. Where did the hype man go? All right. I'll even play a little Kanye first and shake these 161 people away. A little anti-Semitism. Is that what you said? You said yes?
It's your show.
This song been banned, everybody, everywhere. It'll come through this fucking website, Coinbase, piece of shit, Fed chain. It's so slow. All right, so I was gonna play the entry song. This one. Here we go. All right, this one's worth waiting for. Why don't they have dark mode? Fucking Zora.
Leroy Wells. Yeah, you dig it. Hey, how you doing? Wait a second. Yeah, you did.
Counselor, welcome to the
Hey, Leroy, what's up?
Yeah, you did.
Brother, DMD, brother.
Where
you going, dog?
I know, Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So that Michael Jackson, I'm like, hey, baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Hey, can you get
Wait, slow down. Why don't you introduce us? What's your name?
Okay, my name is Leroy Wells, and I stay in Blaze the Paint for a living in the studio with Riverdale.
What? Wait, Leroy, you got to start again.
Yeah. I stay in Blaze the Paint.
Sandblasted Paint.
Yes, sir.
What?
Sandblasted Paint what?
It's shrimp boat. It's in Bonaventure. You know what Bonaventure is? It's a shrimp boat. It's real slow like. It's country, and we ain't making no money, so y'all need to put me on TV. Can you dig it?
Yo. But wait a minute, dog.
Wait, come back.
Dog. So
I play the drums, the keyboard, anything. I'm a musician, you feel me? But see, I got to get y'all crunk so y'all can feel me.
Yo, man, but we need to get crunk like that.
Like this. Look, see. Like teeth. Why
you got your crunk? Put your crunk here. Look at
that nigga that hear that crunk.
Oh, those aren't your teeth.
Oh, he got his crunk
1,
on.
2, 3. Hey. Baby, I got your money, don't you worry.
Hey, can you dig it? Baby, I got your money. Got your money. Hey, baby, I got your money. Got your money. Hey, baby, I got
Okay, I can't take it anymore.
Now, can you dig it? And then don't say, thank you, Jesus, because you got to put Jesus first. If you don't, you ain't going to do nothing.
Tell Simon Cowell he's got to put Jesus first.
Simon, you don't put Jesus first.
No, Simon's over here.
Wait.
He's right there.
Put Jesus first. Something wrong with you. Now, can you dig it?
Sing something else,
Question,
man.
Randy. In America, do you have a button that puts subtitles on? Do you?
Can you spin the cup?
Like
See, y'all ain't
Alexander
listening.
Wood.
This guy needs a subtitle. Yo, dog, but can you sing?
I can sing, but it's crunk. It's just gonna be crunk. You just gonna do that.
Wait, no.
But sing something
This
then.
is a singing competition, honey.
I told you what I was
Allegedly.
singing. Hey.
Yeah, but a different song.
A real song. James Brown, anything.
I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. I knew that I would. Da-na-na-na-na-na. So good. So good. And I got you.
I got it.
Hey, so good. So good. So good.
I got it.
You're a stepper, man. You're a stepper. You're a stomper, huh?
Yeah, but I'm trying to make you feel what I'm talking about.
I feel you, man. We're feeling you, dog.
Can you dig it?
Yes. Yeah, we can dig it, baby. Look at Simon. He's right here with you.
Simon, you need to get crunk. You need to cut everything chop and get cardio out here and do that.
I agree.
Can you imagine if Simon had the crunk teeth like that? If Simon was
Then
crunk,
take him out. Look, hey, this for the TV, and this for your mommy and daddy.
yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
I got mine together now.
Yeah. Dog, you ain't right for this, man. But listen, we love you, man. The energy. He's the hype man. I mean, you the ultimate hype
You
man,
are
dog.
so entertaining and energetic and fun, but you know this isn't the right competition.
But see, that's why I'm on TV right now, so y'all gonna put me on.
Can I tell you something? You are definitely going to be on TV.
You definitely gonna be on
I know,
TV,
see,
man.
that's the thing. I want to be in Hollywood. I go to Hollywood. I should not be outshine. And see, y'all don't want me to go to Hollywood because y'all know I'm gonna take over.
Yeah, you
I'm
gonna
take
turn
over.
Hollywood out.
And you know that.
Leroy.
So do what you do.
Leroy.
It's all good.
Planet Earth calling Leroy. Leroy, you really can't get a good assessment of what you do until you listen to Simon.
Well, the winner of the show gets to go on the Jay Leno show the following day. I'd love to be in their office planning that interview. It's just ridiculous.
In a good way.
I did
In a
not
good way,
understand a word you said.
It's all good. Let me know what's the deal. Am I in it? Am I not? So I can go back home and go to work for my dad.
No.
Okay, Davey. I respect
No, man. Appreciate you, dog.
Y'all got to say it for me. Can you dig?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we can
we
dig it, baby. Keep it crunk, baby. Keep crunk in your life.
OB, they shut it down south too crunk for him, but I ain't studying, you know what I'm saying? See that he see me on TV, and see, I got lied to the fuck. I told him this time, and we gonna do a big. Now, whoever listening, and y'all let Simon pump me out on TV, and it ain't going down. So whoever, you see me, you know I'm $1 million, and I'm gonna have my money to Simon. He know that, because they hate. Don't hate on the player, hate the game. Now, can you dig?
Leroy Wells.
Can you dig it?
So yeah, Leroy's he's a star down there in Mobile, Alabama. He's out towards St. Bonaventure, which is a little further outside the main port city. But yeah, what do you think, Council?
I love that guy.
He's great. Like pairing him with Dirt, dude. Like we
I
just
don't know if would they complement each other, or are they the same?
Dirt is 45 minutes from Forrest Gump and Bubba Gump. Forrest, like the Bubba fish, Bubba the crawfish, all that. He's from right there where that movie is placed. It was actually filmed somewhere else, but where it was placed is Mobile, Alabama, 45 minutes from Dirt Road. So like we get these guys in, and also think Waterboy. The movie Waterboy, we got to bring that type of element. Like, hey, Dirt's going to talk about his high school football days. Dirt. And it turns out Dirt was just a water boy and chit-chat on the sideline. Like, we could make him real skinny. We could do anything with him because he's never going to show his face. And that's great because then we can have all the creative license and we can eventually just take his voice and put it in an AI. And then we pay him off. Let him sell his Dow.
Yeah, I should interview him about that. I've not asked him about his past.
It'd be like this. They'll be doing this.
That break-in happened early this morning in the 500 block of Webster Drive in Huntsville.
Dwayne Dodson heard his sister scream and ran to help.
Well, obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
The attacker got loose and went out the upstairs window, but he did leave something behind.
We got your T-shirt. You done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real. You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. We gonna find you. I'm letting you know now, so you can run and tell that, homeboy.
That break-in happened early this morning in the 500 block of Webster Drive.
Isn't that pretty good, though?
That's pretty good. What about, do you know Dark Waters? Have
Obviously,
you ever heard of Dark Waters?
Rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
The attacker got loose and went out the upstairs window.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's another Grill of Blanco karaoke night.
Dark Waters is from New Orleans. He did a lot of stuff on Coast to Coast and got a lot of popularity. And he did the Dogman Encounters and wrote a bunch of stories about that. That did, I mean, not just stories, but
FTs one more time, and it's guaranteed we're not fucking tonight. You got open sea on your mind, and it should be me that you prioritize. Trying to get through, but it don't compute. Cause you're busy aiming for the dumb moon. You think I'm enthused, but I got some news for you. I don't care about your crypto, boy. Not even one thing. That ain't enough to get back to run the talk. You always seem to find a way to tear things down, but this Ethereum is gonna get me out this town. You seen these tips yet? We could be so rich, but I won't take it to the moon if you don't wanna come in. I need that fast life. You're making mixtapes, so please enlighten me how I'm so damn delusional, babe. You're a musician, you work at Arby's. That's why I hate when you say I don't care about your crypto, boy. Not at all, not even one Bitcoin. See.
CEO of being unemployed.
Yeah, it's pretty much what that song sounds like.
Yeah. Big Bill, Master Johnson. This goes out to our efforts in Nigeria. Shout out to the NigerianLotto.com. At Nigerian Lotto on Twitter got taken down. And we still have Nigerian Lotto on a Telegram wire.
Nice.
Play the National Lottery Nigeria and stand a chance to win up to 50 million naira cash. There are varieties of games like 649, Pick 3, Naija Mega Jackpot, Scratch Cards, and much more. You win real cash prizes on the National Lottery Nigeria platform. Sign up today through our USSD code *9966#. Dial *9966# and you will be directed to the National Lottery's welcome menu. Press 1. You will see National Lottery. If you're using the USSD for the first time, you will be prompted to register.
Like that.
That's awesome. Can't wait to see who the winner is.
Here's another one. This is a dirt one right here. This one's from Montgomery.
People in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun has taken up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
Curiosity leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community, many of you bringing binoculars, camcorders, even camera phones to take pictures.
To me, it look like a leprechaun to me. All I gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
Eyewitnesses say the leprechaun only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This amateur sketch resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like. Others find it hard to believe and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
My theory is it's casting a shadow from the other limb.
Could be a crowd
crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff. And it told him to get up in a tree and play a leprechaun.
We're gonna get down to the bottom of this. Yeah, still on there, guy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man.
This guy helping to direct traffic says he's prepared for his encounter with the leprechaun. He's suited up from head to toe.
This wars off smells right here. This is a special leprechaun flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather who was Irish. And I just came to help out.
Others just came to get lucky in hopes a pot of gold may be buried under this tree.
I'm gonna run a backhoe and uproot that tree. I want to know where the gold at. I want the gold. Give me the gold. I want the gold.
People in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun has taken up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
You like that, Thoreau?
Dude, I love that one.
That's from Mobile, right where he's from. Like 45 dirt house. Like that dirt road is 45 minutes from that Crichton district of Mobile. Mobile is a small town. It's not that big, like 300,000. I had another one that was pretty funny around the same time. Here, you want to see one of me?
Dark Waters literally goes out and hunts for dogmen. I thought Dirk going out
the Mercedes Marathon.
I think it gives good people a good break from running their 26 miles. You know, they see us running by with a cigar in our mouth. It gives them something to laugh about.
Why some runners will be smoking.
Now, live with the most powerful name in local news. This is Fox 6 News at 10.
More than 8,000 runners are getting ready for the various Mercedes Marathon events this weekend. And in the sea of runners, you might see a few clouds of smoke. 6 teams are running the relay race with lit cigars. They call themselves Samford Stogies. It started as an idea between a few Samford University grads. A few guys ran last year's relay with cigars, and this year the team has grown to 37 runners. Team members say it's all about having fun, and the marathon director says that's what running's about.
We're just out to have fun. We're out for a challenge. I mean, why run a marathon in the first place? You're doing it for the challenge. So why not add a little more to the challenge and run with the cigar?
Man, we smoke our victory cigar while we run. A lot of people wait and smoke it afterwards.
It's odd. I can't believe they run with cigars and much less lit. That's crazy. But we love it. I mean, that's going to be a kick to everybody out there who sees it.
We kept going.
You just may not want to be running right behind them. Check our website, by the way, our coverage of the Mercedes Marathon Sunday.
You like that?
Yeah, how did you do? What did you score?
I landed $10,000 advertising deal. I don't give a fuck about the race. He didn't finish his leg. So, like, I didn't really have a baton to receive, so somebody had to run that way to go find him on the side of the road throwing up, give me the baton and run it to me so I could run 10K to the next dude. Like, it was chaos. And then a guy later on got arrested the night before and didn't show, so I had to go take his spot and run another 5K. All right, there was around this time, maybe it's this one, I put a little Nappy Roots song up in this. I don't remember it because I was going through a weird phase at this point in my random videos on on Base Chain. All right, so this is Mount Gox stuff. I mean, like, there's just so many good stories to incorporate into all this. And I think, like, having a place, like, for me, I was kind of doing clipping here. I stopped. I need to get back to it, even though nobody trades base shit coins on Zora because they're pegged to Zora. That's a bunch of racket. But the concept is cool of having an Instagram for, like, stuff that you want to share. So I like that. I just don't know. My guess is this one. It's not that one. Is this one?
These days, I practice a new profession. Bounty hunter. Do you know what a bounty hunter is?
No.
Well, the state places a bounty on a man's head. I track that man. I find that man. I kill that man. After I've killed him, I transport that man's corpse back to the authorities. Sometimes that's easier said than done. I show that corpse to the authorities, proving, yes, indeed, I truly have killed him, at which point the authorities pay me the bounty. So, like slavery, it's a flesh for cash business.
What's the bounty?
It's like a reward.
You kill people and they give you a reward?
Certain people, yeah.
Bad people.
Ah, badder they are, bigger the reward.
You like that, Thoreau? So we can pull from storylines for movies and books and just kind of pass on generational and recreate those like a Civil War battle scene. And just say we won. Let's go. All right. There was one that I put. I don't think it was this one. That one's pretty good. Look at my singing. And music again. Oh, y'all can't hear the music, can you? You just hear my off-tune attempt. Oh, this one. This is a Rich Boy one, so we'll see.
I used to think about immature things. You know, like, do you love me? Do you want me? Are you gonna call me like you said you would? Is this really your real phone number?
Get money, get money, get money. New money. Hey, rich boy city quick, folk niggas wanna dick, shit tight, no stick, just bought a Cadillac. Put some DDs on that bitch. Just bought a Cadillac. Put some DDs on that bitch.
I used to think about immature things.
I mean, this one was weird. I have no clue where this one goes. No clue. Guggen exit liquidity pools, boy. This shitcoin's worth $183. Feel free to put $1 in there and take it. The whole thing. This one's kind of funny. Thoreau, just unmute and we can talk whatever you want. We don't have to like go on with this. It's not even loading now.
I was looking for Billy the Kid. What was that gang that he was part of, right?
This was an old school abduction extortion with the new school twist that what they wanted to be paid in was crypto.
This trend of using violence in the physical world to access someone's online wealth has a name. It's called a wrench attack. And wrench attacks on people who own millions in crypto have been growing across the globe.
Another suspect was arrested in the Bitcoin kidnapping and torture case in Manhattan.
3 teens accused of kidnapping and robbing a man out of millions of dollars in cryptocurrency.
It comes after a series of kidnappings in Europe targeting crypto magnates.
The full term for a wrench attack is a $5 wrench attack. And it stems from a comic strip on XKCD, an online webcomic that often covers science and tech. In this 2-panel comic, titled Security, 2 stick figures are trying to hack into someone's crypto account. The first panel depicts, quote, a crypto nerd's imagination.
One of the stick figures says, his laptop's encrypted. Let's build $1 million cluster to crack it. And the other stick figure says, no good. It's 4096-bit RSA. And then the first one says, blast. Our evil plan is foiled.
The other panel is titled, What Would Actually Happen?
one stick figure says to the other, his laptop's encrypted. Drug him and hit him with this $5 wrench until he tells us the password. The other one takes the wrench and says, got it.
So it's kind of the brute force approach.
Yeah, literally brute force, not the crypto brute force approach, but literal brute force. This was an old school abduction extortion with the new school twists that what they wanted to be paid in was crypto.
This trend of using violence in the physical world to access someone's online wealth has a name. It's called a wrench attack. And wrench attacks on people who own millions in crypto.
You like that?
Yeah, that sounds more like easy than dirt. The wrench attack thing. I don't think of dirt as an attacker.
I'm going to attack him.
Verbal.
I were joking around with it because Ben had sent him a board ape, and Ben said he sent him another board ape if I stole that board ape. So I was going to wrench attack him while he spent the night here, and it wasn't really worth getting into all that because it wouldn't have been believable enough. Like he came, like, so it has to be a situation where you do it a little bit different. You see this?
We flew into San Diego, and I asked the manager, could I go home? Because we had an off day. So he said, yeah. So I took some LSD at the airport because I knew where it would hit me. I'd be in my little area and I know where to go. So that's how I got to my friend's girlfriend's house. She said, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm high as a Georgia pine. The next day, which I thought was the next day, she told me, you better get up. You got to go pitch. I said, pitch? I pitch tomorrow. Hell, what are you talking about? Because I had got up in the middle of the morning and took some more acid. She grabbed the paper, brought me the sports page and showed me, boom. I said, oh, wow. What happened to yesterday? She said, I don't know, but you better get to that airport. Shucks. Now, this was in the 70s, and Greens was Dexamil. That was the drug of choice back then. Was a stimulant. Over 90% of major leagues was using Dexamil when I was playing. When I got to the game, there was a lady down there in San Diego who used to always have the bennies for me, Benzedrine, which is another stimulant. I went out to the dugout and reached up because she was standing over the rail. She always stood over the rail and had a pretty little gold pouch. So I got the bennies, went on back in the clubhouse, took them. The game started and the mist started, misty rain. So all during the game was a little mist. The opposing team and my teammates, they knew I was high, but they didn't know what I was high on. Because they had no idea what LSD was other than what they see on TV with the hippies. I didn't see the hitters. All I could tell was if they was on the right side or the left side. The catcher put tape on his fingers so I could see the signals. We had a rookie on the team at that particular time named Dave Cash, and he kept saying after the first inning, he said, you got a no-no going, a no-hitter. I said, yeah, all right. And I looked. Then around the fourth inning, he'd say it again, got a no-no going. I looked, yeah. But I could also feel the pressure from other players wanting to tell him to shut up. It's a superstition thing where you're not supposed to say nothing if somebody's throwing a no-hitter. There were times when the ball was hit back at me, I jumped because I thought it was coming fast, but the ball was coming slow. Third baseman come by and grabbed the ball and threw somebody out. I never caught a ball from the catcher with two hands because I thought that was a big old ball. And then sometimes it looked small. One time I covered first base and I caught the ball and I tagged the base all in one motion. I said, oh, I just made a touchdown. I didn't pay no attention to the score. You know, I'm trying to get the batters out. And I'm throwing a crazy game. I'm hitting people, walking people, throwing balls in the dirt. They're going everywhere.
Now we go for the Vieste de Resistance. We've moved to the bottom of the ninth on a no-hitter, leading 2-0.
It was easier to pitch with the LSD because I was so used to medicating myself. That's the way I was dealing with the fear of failure. The fear of losing, the fear of winning. It's just it was part of the game. You know, you get to the major leagues and you say, I got to stay here. What do I need?
Everybody in our bullpen is standing and walking around nervously. They want to run and grab Doc. Now, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and here's the pitch. Strike 3, he got it! They're going after him, he got it! They're mouth.
You see that style?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see Dirt doing that.
He already just take his audio spaces when he's telling a story. It's got to be story based like that. So when he's talking, whenever this settles down, and he can calmly recap the story of TBBB, as he's a TBBB, as he says, and he can tell the story of the Baby Bulls' origin from the TBB community or whatever, however he wants to tell it, and however he wants to do the big fish and kind of make shit up or exaggerate or downplay stuff, however he wants to go about it, then take that audio from that space and insert it and just do this style of animation. Now you can use different, but I really like that sketch on a white paper, and it felt Southern. That was Los Angeles, but it had a Southern feel to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I put a link to Dark Waters, Siege at Lockett Ranch, I believe it's called. It's not for this show, but if you get a chance, he's from that area. The guy is he's pretty incredible with what he can do, his storytelling.
Yeah, let's definitely talk more on that maybe offline. There was one of these up here that I had. And like my first one, these a lot of these did well. Any new deployer here. Well, let's throw on I like this thing. Let's do this thing. For Pride Month. That was funny.
Could you see Dirt being a member of the Knights of the Golden Circle? I've not asked him if he would like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get with him about however you can separate the story.
I've been feeling like a piece of rice paper. Think I'll move to an island, turn into vapor, get a scooter and a house on a hill. Fish all day just to fill up the grill. Spend my mornings making chocolate milk and Eggos. My days at the beach, my nights stepping on Legos. Wave to the world, screaming hasta luego. Everybody back home will say, where the hell did he go? Boy, hop in a boat, throw the paddle away.
Anyway, you get the point. I think, I was hopping in to say something. I don't remember what I was going to say. All right, here we go. Let's get controversial.
Man, these people take my kids from me, then they post my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in the matrix, when I flex my nitrous. I ain't a cook, I like when people fuck on my dick. Shit that I'm posting on Twitter, they telling me, yeah, don't say that. How niggas can't see me in public, I'm driving an all-chrome Maybach. With all of the money and fame, I still can't get my kids back. With all of the money and fame, I still don't get to see my children. Niggas see my Twitter, but they don't see how I be feeling. So I became a Nazi, yeah, bitch, I'm the villain. Nigga, how Hitler? They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Nigga, how Hitler? They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how Hitler? She wanna fuck with Japan. I put the crumb on the bench. Nigga, how Hitler? She reaching down in my pants. She got the world in her hands. Nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler? All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how Hitler? Nigga, how Hitler?
Dass ich anständig meine Zeit aufwenden habe im Krieg für meine Freunde. Ich nur jetzt keine Spieler. Denn ja, ganz Krieg will mich ein, so wie du.
Welcome to this here episode of Web3 Journey. We are diving into personalities and like your brand identity and your character development of your, your pseudonymous entities, each of your different alt accounts that you create on X, and how you brand that on the blockchain and through other social media platforms. Let's kick it over to me before we go to you, Spanzy Max. You Fresh Prince, we're going to a queen first. Put yourself on mute. I hear you.
Yo, yeah, Mr. Drew. How you doing, sir?
Spanzy Max, ladies first.
Okay.
Is that Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Oh my, we really stepped it up. Hello, everybody. We're joined here in this show by the one and only Mary Jane. She's a attorney from Chicago. She's been in Bitcoin since her mining days, and her law office has a law firm, has a few different offices around Chi-Town and kind of the Northeast. And she's specialized, probably the world's best at like setting up DAO structures, and not like a Wyoming DAO bullshit, tax yourself to death LLC, but other cooperative structures. So there you go. Is that a good intro? And she's playing poker right now, not even paying attention to whatever I just said. Mary Jane, are you there? We lost to Mary Jane.
I think she's playing the poker game.
Yeah, she was playing poker when I talked to her earlier. And then she jumped on a space with 50.ETH. And then I think she was a co-hostess with 50. And then she hopped into here. So I don't know. Let me pull this up, though. Spanzy Max, can you put something on?
Yeah, but is this Mr. Bill?
This is Big Bill Master Johnson.
Yo, Mr. Big Bill Johnson. How you doing, sir?
He's doing well. He's having connection issues as well. I think he's close to Yanuga Booga right now. He's his second or third. Is it his fourth trip even? Spanzy Max over there?
Yeah.
I have a video about your cabin on here. Remember that video I made about your cabin? Do you remember where I put it?
Yeah. Can I see?
Look at this one.
Whoa.
No, this is a chair. That's not it. That's about sailors sitting on his chairs. There's this. No. That's about America. I should give you a little more info. I would think it'd be that. Where's the cabin one? Do you see it on here, Spanzy? It's Zora.co/Drew Roberts. That one's pretty good. Well, I can't.
The ring around it?
At.
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd never heard it.
Around
I'd never heard it said. I'd always seen the mark, but never heard it said. And then it sounded stupid when I said it. Violence at NBC.
I heard you around or about in the lunchroom the other week.
There it is. Violence at NBC. GE.com. I mean,
well, Allison should know.
What is internet anyway?
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
No, a lot of people use it and communicate. I guess they can communicate with NBC writers and producers. Allison, can you explain what internet is?
No, she can't say anything in 10 seconds or less.
Allison will be in the studio shortly. What does it mean?
It's a giant computer network made up of started from.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell us what this was.
It's like a computer billboard.
It's not an. It's a computer billboard, but it's nationwide, and it's several universities and everything all joined together.
Right.
And others can access it.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It came in really handy during the quake. A lot of people, that's how they were communicating out to tell family and loved ones they were okay because all the phone lines were down.
I was telling Katie and I was.
But you don't need that. You don't need a phone line to operate internet. No.
The ring around it?
See that?
You don't need a phone line, Spency Max. All right, where's this cabin? This one's good. This is Neil Gaiman. That's going to take way too long to play. Domain. We have 3 women. I don't know, stupid. You still there, Spansy?
Yes, sir.
I could have sworn it was Ticker Cabin on here, right?
And you miss being younger, a boy with a hunger to get far away from this town. You never knew how, why, or when, just knew that you'd make it somehow. Now 20 years older, shoulder to shoulder, with boys who are just like you, spending their lives underground, proving their collars are blue. Dark black hole, take my soul, owe it to you anyways. Just don't let my children become the victims of the mountain's evil ways.
We've gone through too many attempts not to find it. I like this song, but we gotta keep moving, Spans. We gotta keep moving.
Keep moving. It's raining over here right now.
3 days! Hello, everybody! We are so excited.
Mama's air conditioning went out in July. She bought me this guitar, never said why. I hastily moved in with a friend.
Robbed and shot outside his own business. Melvin Adams Jr., better known as Scales, from the rap group Nappy Roots, is also the co-owner of Atlantucky Brewing in Castleberry Hill. Now, Scales says that he was leaving the brewery the night of August 17th when 2 men tried to rob him, then shot him in the leg. Today, he says that he's doing great and he's grateful for all the support he's gotten from his community. Scales also says that his biggest concern now is the
Mr. Drew.
It takes away from all the good things the neighborhood has to offer.
And we want to let that be known that this is a great neighborhood and we are a part of what's becoming here.
I can't hear you.
We want to get this on.
Easy, man.
It's like easy money. Easy money. If you do it for the love, then it's easy money. It might even come better if you believe in something. If a man step for one thing, he won't fall for nothing. Maybe you might get it like bees and honey, or like birds and trees.
Mr. Drew, please send me this song. Send me this song. Send me this song, please. Whoa.
There will be days.
Mr. Drew.
Yeah.
I came here looking for something.
Send me that song you just played. Finish.
.co/Drew Roberts. Oh my goodness, we made some funny videos. Remember working on these on Telegram, Spencer? Let's see what this one is. Singing for the Hey OF Girl Hey Crush on Bass. Let it go lower, Frank. Oh, that's probably better we don't live stream this. View it beforehand.
Oh, I forgot to say this, Mr. Drew. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month. Yes, sir. For you too, Max. Happy August. Maybe a month of blessing for you and your family.
Amen. And you too.
Cumpleaños feliz, te deseamos a ti. Cumpleaños feliz, te lo deseamos a ti. En inglés, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
You like that, Spencer?
Yeah, I do.
This one. Man, I can't find your cabin one, Spencer. Are you pulling it up and looking on your end? Maybe you can find it before I can.
What are you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
My swamp. Get out
What
of my swamp.
are you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in my swamp? You like that one, Spencer?
Yeah, man.
We played this one earlier. This was
Fud.
You missed it before you came in, Spencer. It's the one where I called you.
I'ma hit it home, but watch me is wrong. I'ma hit it home, but
I don't think any of these had your cabin. Man, I had a cabin song, Spangy. I don't know if you remember. Oh man, I don't want to put on these. This was.
And my wife, because I got high. Oh. Now I'm sleeping on the sidewalk.
Sleeping on the sidewalk. Remember this one, Spansy? This one from it's May 1st, 2021. This is my first ever profile picture. And then 8750 the Basie, the Board Ape Yacht Club collection. And yeah. This is a token worth $232 total market cap. And it's not even loading, and now I got nobody on stage. So I'm going to play this other one on YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. we're going to continue the interview that started this whole thing off. Game of chess.
You can also use that as a very sneaky way of showcasing fun world parts.
Right, because you could show weapons and...
Yeah, or for example, in the Echoes of the Fall series, everyone is a shape changer. Everyone has an animal form, and you can transfer from human to animal like that. So that led to a lot of extraordinarily complicated fight scenes where people are turning in and out of wolves and bears and snakes and things like that, just moment to moment, because of the advantage it's giving them in the fight, which was really hard to think through, but hopefully is enjoyable to read.
That's a funny image.
One of the most important things I haven't said about writing fighting is this: once you have learned all these clever things from whatever means you're using to learn about fights, is you need to learn how to put as little of that as possible on the page, because the temptation, as with anything you've done the research on, is I am just going to vomit all of this stuff on the page to show how incredibly intensive my research has been. And at that point, pacing goes out of the window. And you have this, nobody wants to read a fencing manual at that point. But once you know that stuff, it will inform the details you do put in. So, and it will genuinely show through. And this is the same with any kind of research, is once, even though you're paring it down to just maybe a handful of words where you can see that those arose from what you have learned, those are the words that will make it real.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into the heads of the characters, like I'm saying, even if you're not doing that, just that very restricted viewpoint, having the narrative of the fight told as much through the emotions as through the footwork or the precise blade work.
Explain that for me. Talking through the emotions rather than the
work. Because I mean, so weirdly enough, this is something I got from live role playing.
Okay. When you say live role playing, do you mean actually acting in person with other people?
Rubber swords, dress up as a barbarian, charge about.
So it's like improv for fights.
Yes, and you're playing a character. There is a certain sense of the world going on, and in this case, because it's what we call fest-based LARP, it's full on 1,000 people on a battlefield sometimes, and you're there standing with your your spear or whatever in the second rank of your battle line, and a bunch of people are screaming at the top of their lungs, charging down a hill at you, and you feel it. You feel it here, and that's what I gained from that that LARPing experience to put on the page. Is this is not just the fact that yes, these are standing here and this is the tactical this and the kind of the strategic that of what is going on the battlefield. It's just like this is what it feels like to be in a fight, and that's not a thing that regular life these days tends to teach you particularly. But because you're there is a part of you that reacts as if it's real, even though it's obviously it's purely a fictional pastime, and that sense is what you can put on the page.
Now, for you as the writer, whenever you're working on a new book, you're trying to do something new, as I understand it, to avoid writing ruts.
Yeah.
So as you think about doing that, what's important?
So there will be usually one or two things I want to do
differently.
Yes, in particular with any new project, there will be a particular idea I want to explore, or there will be a particular moment of emotional impact I want to try and generate. Even there will be to give one example of a thing I have not yet been able to do and is definitely on my list to have a crack at. There are a couple of books I have read which have inspired in me this incredible sense of the numinous.
The numinous.
Yes, of this kind of just the awe of there being just a world that is just out of sight.
Yes.
But is very, very real. And you get, so Robert Holdstock's Mythago Wood is one, and Susanna Clarke's Piranesi is another, both of which are books I absolutely love. And at some point I want to write a book that inspires a similar kind of sense. And it will be very much on my own terms and drawn from the sort of things that interest me. So it will be that new terrain. But I would really like to be able to leave readers with that sense of that sort of other world. And like I say, I haven't yet done that. I've got a book coming out, the title of which I can't say because it's currently in flux, because titles are a thing I can't do. I get to keep about one title out of 3 of what I submit. But I wanted to see, can I do a book that is simultaneously Gothic horror and also is exploring things like clones and post-tech society. I do a lot of post-tech society stuff. For some reason, that's an idea that absolutely fascinates me, and I keep
Why?
Back to it. I think it is.
Yeah, what is it about the post-tech society?
Yeah, it's very evocative. I think it's the same thing that is the explanation for why so many computer game settings are based around ruined worlds. And it's not a dystopia thing. It's this idea that there is a certain tragedy and grandeur to your story playing out in the wreckage of a past that has mostly been completely forgotten. So that the characters, they are there with all of these indicators of what might have been going on in the past, but they've all, their own society has got to the point where they don't know necessarily where they came from, and they don't know how to do the things that people previously did. You get this 3-sided knowledge structure.
What's that?
So there's what you as the author know, and there is what the characters in the book know, and there is what the reader knows. And there are all sorts of different ways you can play with this. So, for example, you can have a situation where your character has a whole lot of stuff that they know that they're not saying. So that when, especially, and this is especially the case with like unreliable narrator stories, where you're telling it from a first-person point of view, and that character, there is sort of a compact that readers tend to assume, well, if you've got a narrator and he's telling you what happened, then that is what happened. And it doesn't have to be that way, of course, because if your narrator is telling the story, they probably have an ulterior motive and they have an agenda. And then you'll get to a bit in the book where the reader realizes that they've not been given the full story. I mean, this is something I do in City of Last Chances. There is basically a kind of a Maltese Falcon thing going on where there is a particular item and it's gone missing and one of a set of characters has it. And you get to see inside the head of most of those characters. And at no time do any of them admit to having it.
That sounds like, what's that board game? Secret Hitler.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, it is kind of a hidden. It's sort of a hidden rolly sort of thing, and that was complicated by the fact that because this is the book I didn't plan, I didn't know who had it, so I had to write all of these characters from an entirely agnostic position of whether they might or might not have had the thing, and then towards the end of the book, it just became obvious. Oh, this character has to have it, and this is what they've done with it, and this is why, and this is when it's going to be revealed that they've had it all along. But there is also the other way that triangle of information can go is that when you, the author, and the reader are sharing knowledge that the characters don't have.
Ooh. And
that is very much a thing you tend to get with post-text. So, for example, in my Expert Systems novellas, It's an Exoplanet, there was a colony ship that went there, but the people who live on the planet have no memory of this whatsoever. They are living in a very weird, sort of sheltered way, but as part of that, they have lost all track of where they came from. It's just like, well, this is our world and we live here, and we've kind of always have. But you as the reader, of course, have a much broader understanding of what's going on. And as the main character explores the world, he doesn't particularly understand a lot of the things he finds, but the reader can pick up the clues and stay a step ahead of what the character understands. And sometimes this can be profoundly traumatic. So there's in Dogs of War, the main character is Rex. He is a bioengineered dog who is being used as a military asset. And he's telling the story from his own point of view. And at the beginning, Rex is a good dog because he's doing what he's told, and that's the measure of being a good dog. And it becomes readily apparent to the readers that what Rex is doing is war crimes.
War crimes.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing civilians and indeed children, because he's talking about big enemies and small enemies and things like that. But Rex has no understanding of that because he doesn't have the context. And so you as the reader are potentially just kind of chewing your fingernails off saying, this is really, really terrible. And Rex is this kind of amiable, likable character who just thinks he's being a good dog. And then later on, of course, Rex will catch up and as he goes out into the world, he understands more and starts making his own value judgments about what is right and wrong. That isn't just my master has told me to do this thing. But in those early sections, you as the reader have a lot of perspective and knowledge, even based on Rex's own account, that Rex doesn't have. And so you have this tension between what the author knows, what the reader knows, what the character knows.
Yeah. As you're thinking up these stories, is there utility to your dreams? And, there's so many, even Salvador Dali as a painter, he would kind of fall asleep with the apple and then wake up with the unconscious. Do you feel like coming up with stories and alternate worlds is a conscious, deliberate, fun process for you? Or are you tapped into sort of more subconscious, dare I say, mystical ways of coming up with stories?
I don't tend to do mystical per se, but I think subconscious, yes. I think that ideally as a writer, your subconscious and your conscious are working in lockstep and supporting one another.
In what way?
So that, for example, when I am consciously working out the framework of the world, and we'll have this and we'll have that and that leads to that, at the same time, all of the gaps between those points I'm putting on the map are being filled up by my subconscious, because the subconscious will understand connections between things before I'm consciously aware of them, and then that is what will come out spontaneously in the writing. That's where it's coming from, and really it's kind of, you're almost writing in partnership with yourself at that point, and you learn to delegate certain parts to your subconscious, because once you've done it enough, you have faith that your subconscious will come through with the goods when you need it to.
How do you feel like you go about improving at the craft? How much of it is reading the greats, studying them? How much of it is maybe now actually getting feedback from editors and constructive criticism from other people? How much of it is just sheer writing? What is it that you do to say, okay, I'm here now, in 10 years, I'm going to be better. What are you going to do to walk that path of improvement?
I mean, there are some things where, I mean, we were talking about like the sense of the numinous. There are some things that are definitely, I would like to write a book at some point that does this. That's a goal, and I'm aware I am not there yet. And so, and for example, with the City of Last Chances, there was, before then, I said I would like to write a book where it is a mosaic story with the lives of all of these characters kind of interweaving, which was not something I'd done before. And so, right, that's the book where I do that. And so some of it is having those quite definite goals. To a certain extent, you're aware of areas you've not gone, where you feel there is still territory that one can move out into. Other writers have maybe paved the way for, but haven't necessarily gone to those particular places you're going to go. And some of that is certainly going to come out of reading, for example. I mean, I don't know about reading the greats per se. I always find it more useful to read my peers, the people who are writing now.
Oh, really?
Because they're already informed by those. Yeah, we're all already informed by this great melange of previous writing that's gone on. We have been building on things. That's how we work. Yeah, we build on past work, and we build on past work, and therefore reading more recent stuff. And honestly, I think we are in a bit of a golden age of really interesting science fiction at the moment. I find that more interesting than going back to read something from the 60s.
Right. So as we begin to close, I'm curious about how you think through connecting the readers with the emotions of the characters so that you can bring them along through the story.
I mean, it's a hard thing to boil down. And I think this is where the subconscious really comes in, because the subconscious is kind of where we connect with our own emotions. I often know particular emotional beats I would like my readers to experience. And the thing is, you're never going to get that from every reader, because everyone is responding differently. But you cast a net, and hopefully, like, the majority of your readers will feel somewhere within the general territory of what you want them to feel, so that, for example, when you've got the doomed defense of the barricades, when the soldiers are moving in, you want them to feel the hope and the tragedy and the despair, and you want them to have, when you have that last minute intervention, just when everything is lost, you want them to soar with it. And a lot of the time I'm doing this because I'm hopefully connecting them to the emotional lives of the characters themselves. And this is often a lot, when I was talking about with the idea you have the mask on and the filter, each character has a mask and each character's emotions are that filter. And this is probably another thing I'm bringing in from way sort of tabletop role-playing games way back. But the idea is you inhabit the character. Yes. Even if it's a tiny character at the time, they are very real to themselves. They have things that they want. They have things that they are scared of. They have reactions to what is going on that are no less real just because they are a bit part or whether they're a main player in the book. And I think having the characters be real to themselves and true to themselves is probably one of the ways you then get the audience to feel along with them.
Well, I guess a good ending question is, what makes for a good ending?
Absolutely no bones about it. The ending is the most important part of the book.
The most important part?
Definitely, because it's the bit that your readers are left with. And if the ending does not work, then that's what they're taking away. It's just like, and you do find this. Yeah, you find it in films and TV and books where basically you kind of think, well, that came out a bit well. I feel that was a good ending that wasn't earned. Or you feel, well, that was a bit depressing. Or you feel, well, that was a cliffhanger where the next book in the series isn't going to come out for 7 years. And the ending needs to be the bit where everything that you intend to tie up in the book turns out to have been inexorably leading to that ending, even though while it was doing that leading, that wasn't remotely obviously where it was going. So it's a lot like any kind of twist, in that it needs to be the very logical result of what's gone before, but also to be a surprise. And that's a big part of the craft.
And that's the part that you don't have planned?
Yes. I mean, this is probably why I try not to plan it, so that by the time I get to that final scene, the motion of the book to that point takes me to where it needs to go, rather than me trying to say, well, obviously it's going to end in this way and these characters will do that and he will die and he will live and so forth. It's just like I will let those details turn up organically, and hopefully that's what gives the book, in my case, a satisfactory ending, because it's the only ending the book can at that point have. And I'm not imposing it in any way.
Thanks for coming on the show. It's good to meet you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Learn the best practices for writing Kubernetes operators using KubeBuilder. This includes strategies for managing multiple controllers for parallelism, resolving conflicts for custom resource updates, implementing efficient retries, and avoiding infinite reconciliation loops. These resources provide guidance on scaling operations to support significantly more users effectively.
I usually start with a problem statement in my videos, but this time I want to do something different. Let's first learn a concept, and then we will go to a problem statement, and then we will see what we need to do. So let me show you something really quickly. I have a cluster here, and I do have my EC2 instance with a certain spec like this. So this is something we have seen in the video where we talked about how to implement the status update, how do you work with a generation, how do you work with spec. It's just a continuation of that. I will put the link of the video in the description. Now, what happens is, what I wanted to show you is every time you make changes to a resource, the generation changes if you have made changes in the spec, and also every resource in Kubernetes has this thing called a resource version. This resource version is how etcd knows about your object. This is how it is reflected in the etcd. And this is going to change irrespective of whether you updated your spec, whether you updated your label, you updated your annotations, you put any changes in your object, whether it is spec or anywhere, this is going to be changed. Whether the generation will only be changed when you actually update the spec of your operator or of your resource. So let's do some changes here. I'm going to say testing, and this is a change. Now, if I save and quit this, you see what happened? We went from generation 4 to 5, and there was a different number for the resource version. Now, to show you something that it does not really matter what change was there on the object, if I just make a new label and I would say cloud GCP. Now, this is to show you that we are not making any changes on the spec, but rather a metadata change. But even that, if I save and quit, you see, this changed. The resource version did change. It did not change the generation because we didn't make changes to the spec of our object, but the resource version changed. Just to quickly show you something else, environment, and I would say production. Now, right now, the resource version is 42331, but if I save and continue, that's going to change to something else, and it is 42345. And that's something I wanted to show you. It does not matter where you make what change in your object. If it has changed, it's going to get a new, the change is going to be committed to etcd, and every commit is going to have a new resource version. So now that out of the way, let's move to the problem which I was facing and that got me to record this video. Now imagine this is what you were doing, and this is something what I did. I felt the problem, and imagine this is what you are also doing. So you have a requirement. Let's start with it now. You have a requirement where you want to make an operator, right? You want to make an operator that is going to work, and that's eventually going to give you a VM running somewhere. It could be in Amazon, it could be in GCP, it doesn't really matter. What this VM is going to do is eventually this virtual machine is going to be added in your cluster as a worker. So think of this as you're making a scaler, you're building your own custom auto scaler. And this is something what I felt when I was working on a similar project. Now, when you are writing an operator, you will be writing some custom resources, and for that, you will be needing some custom resource definitions. So when I was working on that, I decided my custom resource definition to very simply look like this. So the kind was a node pool, and this would define the number of nodes that I can have. So a node pool resource would be defining how many maximum nodes can I get, what is my target node, what's the name of my node pool, and also a very simple configuration like how big the
What are you watching? Kubernetes operator best practices. That's great. What the hell? I thought I was just been playing
enormous panicky cacophony of people charging about and barging into each other, and then suddenly you're fighting someone, and then everything shifts and you're fighting someone else, and you don't know what happened to the person you were just. And that's a really good way of telling a fight scene. And a lot of that is that's nothing to do, particularly with what you do with a sword.
Spend my days in a haze, floating around the Mare. Nights under the bright lights of the yawn.
My grandmother had one of those old furniture consoles with the flip top, so it had the built-in stereo and the speakers were embedded. And she had a collection of old 45s, mostly 60s soul music.
Yo, Mr. Drew.
Aretha Franklin. So that was probably my first exposure to physical
Lotto is back.
playing with that device, that turntable, and then those songs. A lot of Phil Spector stuff, the Ronettes. She had and then my grandfather was a big Marty Robbins, Merle Haggard guy.
Spanzy Max, you need to study Marty Robbins and Merle Haggard. I saw Merle Haggard in concert. My buddy has a limo here in town, in my neighborhood. And so we took the limo on a triple day St. Petersburg, where Jake Newman's from. And Jake Newman and I went to the same theater with this is him.
Okay.
I saw him. All right. Spanzy Max, listen to this. This is my favorite artist. And he just rebranded himself into a new pseudonymous identity called Johnny Blue Skies. It's Sturgill Simpson. Now he's Johnny Blue Skies. Now he's Spanzy Max.
Now he's Johnny Blue Skies, right?
Blue Skies. Is that the Nigerian Lotto Winners Club on X? At Nigerian Lotto?
Yeah, he's back.
Spanzy Max, well done, man. It's well done. I hand it to you. I didn't think we would see it back. I thought the Nigerian Lotto Winners Club and at Nigerian Lotto on X or x.com/Nigerian Lotto and t.me/Nigerian Lotto was gone forever.
No, he's not gone forever. I work on it, so you work out.
All right, so we need an X card with at Nigerian Lotto. Do you want me to use my KYC or your KYC? You need an American KYC, don't you?
Yeah, use your cable.
I'm gonna say I got hacked by Nigeria if this gets turned into my thing. We're gonna have to talk offline. I feel like this is a recorded space. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this.
My other grandfather just only listened to bluegrass. Bill Monroe, Ralph Stanley, stuff like that. So what was my first album I ever owned? Probably the Monkees. So there was a TV show that used to run reruns on the network in the States, and when I was very young, 6, 7 years old. So those records were the first records I ever bought. I had now looking back, I realized that was all the Wrecking Crew and Harry Nilsson and Neil Diamond writing all those songs. So it was a pretty good musical forming education in terms of melody and structure. And then I had older cousins and older kids down the street when I was 3rd or 4th grade. They were like, here's Led Zeppelin and Cream and all from that. And it just ruined my life. I think I responded to the electric guitar first. My dad took me to a Van Halen concert when I was in 4th grade, and that, pretty impactful. And then it's just, through high school, it was, you hear Eric Clapton's song, and then you hear the Beano record, and you want to know who Freddie King is, and then you want to know who Roy Buchanan and Roy Gallagher, and it just never, it was always like, okay, you find a guitar player that really fascinates or inspires you, and you want to know who they listen to, which back then it was harder. There was no YouTube. You had to go to the record store, and the information wasn't readily available. I used to read a lot of those. In the States, they have these guitar magazines, like with the tablature and the interviews. So that's where I would mine a lot of information that would lead to discovering other things. I was a young kid. It was a hobby, but it was definitely a passionate reaction. I remember being pretty obsessed, far younger than, probably should have been, to the point I didn't really want to. I knew in 5th grade, what I wanted to do. But I've said this a lot, where I grew up, a lot of people play music. It's never like you don't think that, it's what you do after work in Kentucky. So I never had any ambitions of running off after high school and joining a band in a big city or something like that. I just didn't, wasn't in my worldview at the time.
I've lost friends.
When I moved to Nashville, I had this kind of distinctly carved out 5-record arc. That I wanted to make 5 sort of conceptual country records that served. This is so heady, and at this point, but yeah, so that was done. It was over. I finished that last record, and I always said, and I got to this point where I don't know, I kind of wanted my name back for myself. I felt like my identity would just become a brand. And to be at airports or something, when you hear somebody say your name, and you turn around and you realize that you've never met this person. It's a pleasant encounter, but all the same, I was just, I don't know. So, and then I realized I was always a big fan of the Derek and the Dominoes record. And I thought that was a really neat concept that he hid behind a character to make a very vulnerable rock and roll record of love songs. And I don't know if he would have done it with his name on it. The name came from when I was in my early 20s. I'd gotten out of the Navy, moved back to this town in Kentucky, and there was a bartender, this guy Dave, who, wore like a black trench coat and just stood outside like flipping a Zippo all the time. And when I'd walk in every day, he would be like, Johnny Blue Skies. And to this day, I have no idea why. So when I did an anime film for a rock and roll record in Japan, I put it under Johnny Blue Skies Productions. On the Sailor Sky to Earth record, there was a little nod to, it was a very nautical themed album. So on the inside, we had this old sort of 16th century illustrated nautical map with the sea monsters and everything. I used to see those when I was a kid and I think they were really cool. And put
you on the stream. I got to turn off the music. Give me a second. Let me turn off the music. You're on here right now. You're talking to Spansy Max, but you're not going to be able to hear him. So y'all just keep running your space, and I'll just run the audio through there. GM.
How have you been, bro?
Man, been doing well. End of this year, beginning of next is kind of indefinite postponement. So kind of went through that. Yeah.
It's early in Florida for you, damn. Huh?
Yeah, it's 5:52. I'm not gonna make early service, so or I guess I could go get steak and eggs and then go there, but I'll probably do the 5 p.m. Church service today. Go to the evening service. Yeah. But I've been kind of talking lately about pseudonymous identities, and that's what this whole live stream is. It says 215 people, but I don't think they're all like at the same time right now. So I don't know. This is just on X. It doesn't show me who launches on YouTube or Twitch. Nobody watches on Twitch. And then Kick, I think I have like 3 subscribers. So the video camera's messing up. Anyway, it's got your audio. I can actually just put the thing back on the screen. But it's essentially the topic has been like creating your pseudonymous identity, tokenizing it, but really pulling in other revenue streams. And the easiest way is just content creator, just like a personality in this new metaverse that's not like otherside.xyz. It's just the real world with a digital outlet with x.com. And then with your voice in spaces or with tweets, you can launch shit coins and tokenize and create and build with AI prompts just on X, just in the same thing as you would do in a post. And then using that as like building in public. So like we wrote, Buddy was on the live stream, wrote a book. It's on Amazon, Just the Dirt Road, if you've seen him around. Thoreau wrote a book and published it on Amazon. So and then we're working on a coloring book for him and just some other type stuff, and really trying to build out the personalities. I brought on some everybody's got their plants, and so plants, KYC off ramps and somebody else's KYC plant is a lot better than having AI bots for your alts. So like if you can't run alts,
right,
get you some girl in the real world and bring her in and teach her how to run a Twitter space and get the simps to pitch in token supply to her. So that, and then but really build it as like a media company where you can push launches and do stuff. Got a co-host invite. I don't know if I could on an Android. Oh, it looks like I can. Nice. Moving up in the world. Foster, you're one of the only people I get DMs about that you're a bad scammer. I like those type of DMs. I respect. If somebody's going to go out of their way.
That's when you're a good businessman.
Hell yeah.
Android's back in the co-host mode now. The Android's back.
Yeah, Android's back. Android's back.
Android users rise.
Yeah, we shall rise again. Hell yeah. So, I like that vibe. Like, you got to play the heel in this game. Like, it doesn't do any good, like, to be goody two shoes out there in the timeline. And, like, Mr. Yes Man to everybody, sucking it up. Like, I like people who are just themselves, and if they're angry about something, they let it out, or if they're whatever, and it's not just a big smoke and mirrors charade. Just be authentic, make a story, be involved in stuff that's memorable with other student anonymous accounts, and tell the story later, and like make it into a bigger story, as big of a chaos storytelling, big fish lore as you possibly can. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it real.
Make yourself memorable. Who the fuck cares if they like you or not? They don't care. If you can show them how to make $100 later, a year from now, they will not even remember how you stole from them in the past. You know, Foster? Like, shit, they don't care. So make it memorable where a year from now, and they're like, hey, I need somebody who can do this, that, or that. They think of you from a year later, and you get a business lead. You know what I'm saying? Or like you get the call of like, hey, we're launching our own layer 1 blockchain. We got all these, you know, seats in the right place, and we're looking for somebody with your skill sets to sit here and then maybe do a role on the board of directors. Like, you know, make yourself memorable to the point that they can't help but put you into a project. I need to pick up and see if Spanzy Max telling me anything. Hey, Spanzy, I'm in a space. I'll translate from Ooga Booga through Swamp Talk back to, I think, Foster, you're from what, England? Or where are you from?
London.
London. All right. They're next to the Big Ben Tower. I'm next to Mickey Mouse. Spanzy Max is next to Dangote. I don't know. What do you want to say? Spanzy Max is building the pyramid of Nigeria. Yeah, I know. I'm talking. I'm about to hear from Spanzy.
Yeah, you say what? Sorry, I just went to my kitchen to go get something. Sorry.
Spanzy Max said he's having internet connection and technical difficulties in Nigeria. He wishes you all the best. Spanzy, go ahead and just mute yourself, and I'll just talk to them, and they can play through the live stream. All right. Go ahead, Foster. You scammer. Get messages about you.
Shout out to everyone out there. Come on, you know, Foster's out there. You know, Foster's, someone's got to be the man.
Well, you know, the kid called Foster. I get messages about a kid called Foster, too. Well, hey, Drew, you got to watch out for those guys. Yeah, those are the guys I want to go learn from. Let's go.
You know, someone's got to be the man and someone's got to be the scam. That's just how it is at the end of the day.
That's how it is. That's how it is. And we got rugged. Got rugged. All right, let's go back to this. Spanzy Max, you guys say anything?
No, I was in my kitchen.
All right, hit play on the rest of this. We've got 10 minutes left.
On the map, there's a little island down in the corner, and it's like a peg-leg pirate with my face. And it says, in this territory, like, beware of the dread pirate Johnny Blue Skies. So when I needed a name, that just seemed like a pretty obvious choice. Mostly, to answer your question, because the paperwork was already done. I own the name. I tried to make a cohesive record, but it was certainly not like an arcing, underlining, definitive narrative. It's just a collection of songs.
Don't look too straight.
Some of those were definitely, a couple of them were, conceptual. One of them was definitely a story front to beginning, and a lot of them were just songs. I mean, I write all the time, constantly, but to make a record, I'm not interested in really making singles, which is pretty indicative of my intelligence level because, praying to a dead business model making albums, but just a collection of songs that cohesively feel like they were from the same moment or the same headspace or they occupy a similar wheelhouse, you know. So Metamodern was really incorporating elements of music from country music from 50s all the way through 60s psychedelia, and then we even experimented with like tape manipulation, trying to mimic like what you might hear a dubstep artists do with computers, but we were using analog equipment and instrumentation and backmasking and just getting weird. Because honestly, I only did that because I had a baby on the way and my career hadn't really taken off yet. So I thought that record would be the last time I ever got to record music until I had to go get a real job. So there were no rules, nothing mattered. I think that's why that album got made the way it did. And that's weirdly the one that launched my career. So this one, I'd kind of gotten all the left and right turns out of my system. And with this one, I just had, I was living mostly in Europe, Southeast Asia for the last couple of years and writing all the time. And I had this collection of songs I'd written in Paris. Thought I was done touring. I had a really bad vocal injury a few years ago and hit kind of a funk, a pretty low period because of that, and just decided to travel to kind of fight depression. And so I wrote all these songs and then had some pretty impactful things that happened in my personal life and lost a lot of people and friends that were dear to me. And then one person in particular last year when I was in Paris that was very important in my life. At one point I found out she'd killed herself. So I just decided, you know what, I gotta get all this stuff on tape and record it. So we made the record, but with this record it was really very simple. And I wanted the music to be pure without any gimmicks or over the top production. So it was myself and just 3 other very good studio musicians. Less is totally more, and I was listening to it, but a lot of the music I was listening to at the time was mid and late 70s kind of landscape rock records where they'd really mastered analog recording by that point. I think those are the best sounding albums ever made from that period of time. Late for the Sky, Jackson Browne, some of that Bee Gees stuff, Main Course. Those records sound incredible. Jerry Rafferty, I reached what my buddy called my grown ass man music phase, where I just wanted to I didn't need to be assaulted anymore. Just wanted to fall in and absorb. So I was listening to a lot of more warmer, realized recordings. So with this one, we just kept everything very minimum input, clean signal path, and didn't use a lot of tricks and trash. In terms of musical style, it's a little all over the place, but I feel like it's the most me album I've ever made. And then even with when I just put all the electric guitars and things down on the record, there were no pedals, no effects. It was just Les Paul and an old Fender Princeton, and we were at Abbey Road, and that was the only thing in the room was the guitar amp. So I just wanted a really pure tone, nothing in the way. Love story with Paris, love story with various women, stages of my life, stories about other people's relationships, struggles and fault, and kind of things I'd witnessed or observed from other people growing up. Songs about people I knew 25 years ago. And then also just pulled a lot of metaphors from literature or books I've read. For this one, there was a lot. The Odyssey was a big influence on me when I was in the Navy. When I was younger, I always nautical imagery and the story, the idea of mental illness as a metaphor for the temptations of life, sort of Odysseus sailing by the rock, and then I just had been in Paris walking around aimlessly and wanted to kind of, I guess, musically make something that felt a little more timeless. I honestly didn't really think about this one too much. In the past, I've always had clear cut, almost like a bulletin roadmap before you go in because you like to record really fast. But with this one, just, we had these songs and my engineer was available, so I made a record. Also because there's something wrong with me. And if something works or is successful, I just feel like I don't deserve it, so I run from it. Or if people say, like, this is great, we want more of this, and my brain is like, no, you can't have it. I do this now. It's a fault.
When it seems like the whole world is against you.
Honestly, I never listened to much of Waylon until I met his son. And we have a similar baritone. People think I was intense. I wasn't. Like, I can... make me sound like Waylon. So a lot of the songs were put in keys where my voice would sit in that register as much as possible. And I feel like I've been running from that record ever since. I mean, Waylon's great, but I've probably listened to Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard way more. But the records those guys make, I think, were pretty groundbreaking in terms of production and sonics because they were trying to make rock and roll records. Well, Willie's a great example. You know, he was in Nashville for a long time, and they just didn't know what to do with him. They didn't understand the esoterics of the art that he had inside of him. And his career didn't even start until he retired. He moved back to Austin in his 40s, and then it doesn't matter what I do now. I'm retired. I've got publishing on these classics, so he started writing all these heady country concept records, and they got canceled. Or he got not canceled, but those 3 classic records we all love so much now got him dropped from Atlantic Records. You know, like nobody bought them, and it wasn't until years later that people caught up to what he was doing. And that you have to. It's not about charts or sales, or you can never like approach this endeavor as like, is this going to make me successful, and how do I stay successful? And if I do a duet with all these people in these 8 million different streams of music to gain relevance and visibility, it's just never been something I was interested in because of the guys you're talking about.